Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Oh, hey. Welcome to another edition of Grapsody. It's Saturday. It is March 12th, 2022. And I'm Will Washington. Not alone here because I am also joined by Mr. Philip Lindsey.
We are in the building. Seen 2 guys out and about last week, man.
Mixie boys are in the building,
Getting
Phil.
mixy,
You know what's
man.
good. You know what's good. You know what's good.
And we also have the birthday boy, Mr. Righteous Reg.
In the fucking building, double R. I'm 36. It's crazy out here. Your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. You know what the game is. It's the Grapsody Boys. It's Saturday morning. It's early. I'm tired as hell. Do-Rag Reg is in the building. Let's do it.
Do-Rag Reg.
Yeah, let me tell you about tired. So, as you can see, not in my normal habitat. I am currently in Los Angeles. And
LA boys, baby, West Coast boys are in the building. Phil, where you at, man? Come through.
Yeah, I am currently in my brother's shoe closet doing this because this is my brother's house. This is my brother, the actor. His house has a lot going on, and there's just a lot happening here. And I was like, I just need a quiet place, and he's like, you use my shoe closet. And so my brother's a bit of a sneakerhead. You can't even see how much of this there is going on here, but there's a lot.
See those rare Minnie Mouse joints, man.
Man.
Oh yeah, but then he's
on display.
This is how much he is a sneakerhead. So his daughter he got shoes. He got a whole shelf dedicated to a 3-year-old shoes.
That's great.
In the building, man.
No, she rocking the minis, yeah, and
he's like, let me get a size 10.5 and also a size 3. So maybe 2 of those.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But we also let me switch up our branding. So the normal Grapsody branding that you see here is not gonna be here today because let's go ahead and remove that. So we're gonna go with the old
I appreciate everybody for the birthday wishes. It's been
you go ahead with that.
There's been about 5 million of them. I can't even catch up. So everybody, I really appreciate all the birthday love. It's been amazing. Y'all are phenomenal. Grapsody supporters are. I'll talk about it in a little bit. I'll talk about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to talk about because this was an insane weekend, and there's a lot that look, man. I'm going to be honest with y'all. There was a lot that obviously, I think for obvious reasons, I was not able to talk about for the longest time.
Right.
And now I am. So it can be talked about. But the first thing we got to do is I got to switch up our branding a little bit.
First things first.
I'm trying to find
all the honeys. All right, yeah, I can get my plugs in. Y'all hop over to righteousreg.bandcamp.com. Regular, my new project just dropped yesterday on there, produced by the homie The Alias. I went crazy. I was riding, pen. That song that says I was riding at 5 a.m. in the airport, that's a real thing. 5 a.m. when I was flying home, bars, long ass travel day. Traveling is the absolute worst. I can't believe it. I wish we could just teleport everywhere. And when everyone says yo, what would be your superpower? Teleportation every single time, never fails. Because yo, I'm trying to be over there. I'm not trying to be waiting at the airport behind people talking about their wives and Why is she acting like that? It's because you're the absolute worst human being I've ever had to stand in front of. I know why she left you. I know why she was way in front of you at the airport, because you're the worst, bro. Like, she don't want to be around you. I barely want to be around you for this 30 minutes. We have to be going around the TSA agent thing. This is the absolute worst. No mask, of course not. Why would he be wearing a mask? He didn't care about masks. Masks don't exist here in his universe. Why is my wife being like that? Because you suck, dude. I hope you're somehow watching this Grapsody episode, and I can let you know that you're the worst.
Somehow watching it and watching you just like tear him apart out of nowhere.
He's like, damn, man. I was just trying to talk about my wife. The worst, bro. Don't talk about your wife like that. You suck. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, yeah, we're not alone now. Yeah, we do have a special guest. It is Mr. Jeff Trammell. Jeff.
Not Jeff Trammell, just Jeff.
Oh,
Trammell.
my bad.
Who's Trammell?
Jeff's
Trammell,
out here,
Will? Who's
Just
Trammell,
like
Will? You cheated?
Let Jeff's out here, buddy.
He just made up a person. Shout out to Jeff in the building with the Grapsody boys this morning. How's everything?
What's up? How y'all
Funny,
feeling?
I don't know Jeff's last name. It's because
It's
Jeff.
Johnson.
Yeah, Jeff. My bad. Johnson. my bad.
Jeff,
I'm bad on guests. My bad.
Nah, Will, you good, bro? You good? I've botched enough in my life with names so that I can grace you. I give grace for all my brothers, bro. So you straight.
My
You straight.
bad.
I don't take no. Come on, I don't take no offense. I'm gonna troll you a little bit, but I don't take no offense.
Hey,
Oh, it's going to be a lot of Will
been-
Washington trolling on this episode. I hope he is ready, because his homeboy, Tony Khan, shouted him out into the world. He let
Thanks,
it go.
Will.
He was like, that's
famous Will
into the
building?
world. That's my homie, Will Washington. We be talking shop all the time. He got his cousin signed. That's what he said. He said it. I didn't say it. I'm just repeating what he said. That's
Hey,
it. Tony
once I
Khan
saw
said
the
it. I didn't
kicks,
say
I
it.
knew shit was different, bro. Once I saw the kicks in the back, I knew it was different with you.
You know what I'm
Look,
saying?
all right. Here's the thing. There's
Yeah.
obviously there is a lot from this week that
I
God.
want that to be our intro, man. Thanks, Will.
Just thanks, Will.
That's it. We go right
Just
into it.
take the Grapsody thing off. Just put
That's
thanks,
it.
Will, from Tony Khan.
there's a lot obviously that I hadn't been able to talk about for a long time that now is out there. And a lot that I was not expected to be out there. For the most part, I was like,
AEW Shields thing before. It's off the charts now. We cannot. We ain't going. What we gonna do? What we gonna do?
look, I would say when Swerve told that story this week, when Swerve talked about when he talked about how his AEW deal came together, and he gave us the shout out. Thank you, Swerve. Really appreciate it.
Bro.
But like I said, the detail I was not ever expecting to be public, and so and how there were some moving pieces there, and I maybe helped a little bit with that. Was not expecting that at all. And so I will tell one funny story though. I will tell one funny story. So I mentioned last week that eventually I would tell the story of how we kind of figured out what Tony Khan's big surprise was, and how we figured out, because we were talking for days, right, about like what the future of Ring of Honor was going to be under Tony Khan, but like this wasn't publicly out there. But I did not. We figured that out, and the way we figured it out was, yeah, like I said, I'll finally tell this story. So, a couple weeks ago, Swerve let me know that he was invited to work Supercard of Honor WrestleMania weekend. But his understanding at the time was he couldn't because he's going to AEW, and AEW wasn't going to allow him to work that weekend. So that was it. I was like, all right, that's a shame. I wanted to see Swerve in Ring of Honor, but whatever. We're good. Right. So, obviously, you guys all saw Swerve was announced as working Supercard of Honor. The post goes up, and I was shocked to see that. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And
we were all like, oh, huh? What?
Yeah, what changed in the last 2 weeks that all of a sudden you went from being able to work, not being able to work this show to being able to work this show? And so I asked Swerve about it, and he had no idea. That none of the talent knew anything, right? He was just like, I got approved. And so I thought, Tony Khan's got a big announcement coming up, and all of a sudden, people who are signing with AEW can now work Ring of Honor. Putting 2 and 2 together, I think Tony Khan's by Ring of Honor. Like, that was it. He was the hit for me. And that was... And so, like, the three of us were just having discussions going forward of, like, okay, obviously, this is what's happening. And I said to you guys, I'm like, I think this is the case. I think Tony Khan's by Ring of Honor. And we were discussing ideas of, like, okay, is this going to be developmental? Like, we were doing this all day, Monday, Tuesday. Like, this was, like, just what our discussions were like. But that's really how that came together. That's how I figured it out, was having that little piece of, like, okay, how is somebody who's going to AEW can suddenly, like, my first thing was the panic. I was like, uh-oh, did this, like, AEW deal fall through? Like, why is he suddenly able to work Ring of Honor? And then he was like, I got approved. I don't know what changed, but it got approved. Like I said, talent was not aware, but the fact was, like, 2 and 2. That was it. Hey, we got some super chats, though. I want to read some of these. We will start with Ace. Says, sup, fellas. Reg made me cry while typing this. Thoughts and good vibes to Big E. Hope this Hobbs, Starks, and Lee feud leads to them in a trio.
That was a whole bunch of things that I love. Shout out to Ace. Man, that's a yes. Everything you said in there, yes. Thank you. I like that.
Yeah, of course, well wishes to Big E.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Distract says, Butch is why Vince shouldn't be allowed to watch other shows. This name is guaranteed to be because he saw an ad Blinders, and now we all have to suffer along with Peaky's Pete cosplay. Carlos says, sending some birthday love to Reg and some good thoughts to Big E.
Appreciate
Shout
y'all.
out Big E.
Yes.
Tremaine, I wanted to talk about Reg's favorite wrestler, Nikita. Happy
Leave
birthday.
me alone.
Or whatever the hell a Butch is, but damn, Big E, I'm glad it's not too bad. Me too. We're going to be talking about that. Corey, happy birthday, Reg. What a week, man. AEW's last 3 pay-per-views is one hell of a run. Prayers for Big E. Brent, happy Reg Day. Brent again. Yes. Reg making Punk cry was a great reminder of why we all love wrestling so very much.
Come on, man. You know how I'm going to give it up. How am I going to give it up? That's how I'm going to give it up.
We got seeing my boy Jeff J on Grapsody makes me smile. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's going on, Doc?
And Grapsody continues to influence the world. Thank you, Brent.
Yep.
And multiple currencies too. Like, I see it different over here. Like, I see Canadian dollars, pounds. That's crazy.
It's the gang, man. Grapsody gang.
I see it.
Tremaine said, "Holy moly, it's Will the Big."
Yeah,
Tony Khan.
That is never gonna stop being funny to me. He just completely stopped in the middle of a question. Hey, thanks, Will. Like,
yes, that's exactly how it happens. Yo, real quick, Jeff.
Jeff, that's what I was about to do. Intro.
Who you are, and because we just kind of like got into it.
I know, and then everybody started ragging on me, but I want to make sure.
I got Will Washington slander was immediately. I had to get that off. That's gonna happen throughout the show and throughout life from here on out. So it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it. What about me? It's like I feel like I'm like the Heyman skit from In Living Color, like 15 jobs. Like I was like, which one do I say? So I'm the host of the Betting Exchange on MSG Networks, Monday through Thursday, 5:30 Eastern on MSG. For those who receive it in your homes, please do not contact me about the Comcast MSG situation. I have no pull in that. I don't control that. Find it how
Comcast.
you find it.
Comcast is in so many different conflicts right now that, like, you may actually think at this point, look, y'all, Comcast might be the bad guy here.
Man, Comcast, they be giving it up. They don't care about nothing.
Those comments are funny on so many levels, but I'll get to that later. There's so many levels, but yeah, I do that. I'm the host of the Power After Hours podcast, covering the entire Power universe, and those are the 2 main things. Those are the 2 main things that I got going on right now, and I'm a managing producer at Bleacher Report over our diversified sports content, making sure that voices, sports, identities, all are represented in the right way, and we tell the stories that aren't necessarily highlighted, and we try to get to expand our depth and breadth of storytelling, because we I think we do a lot of things well over at Turner Sports Bleacher Report, and we can keep doing it better. So that's one of the things that my group does.
Fire.
Hey, so
Fire.
Funny story. So I knew Jeff was at Bleacher Report, and that's kind of how we became cool, right?
Yep.
So I kind of never actually knew what you did at Bleacher Report, because I see you on certain emails, but I know you're not like in the same group that I'm on. I know you do like some of the predictions sometimes, but it's kind of like, I'm like, all right, I know Jeff does things for Bleacher Report, but what does he do? And I'm not trying to throw you out there like, man, he ain't got no job. Like, I know you be out here working, bro.
Man, you ain't got no job. Yeah,
but no, I know he be working, but I was like, yo, what does Jeff do here? Because I know I see him on the emails. But no, that's dope. Like, man, that's a great position to have. Like, super important.
That's fire. Sounds like the captain's position in AEW almost. Like,
the captain was funny as hell this week, by the way.
Man.
I like on levels y'all don't even know. The captain was funny as hell this week.
Was going off. He was in my DMs legit all weekend, all week. Like, he's just all the time, just clowning. I love him. Shout out to the captain.
Shout out to Sean Dean. Sean Dean. Okay. You know what? We are going to just talk about a lot. We're going to talk about, let's see. I got a couple of humper chats. First off, Life of Deem says, and we met Mr. Life of Deem.
Shout out to Deem. He was trying to make the homie cry before the show started at AEW. Like, I can't be crying out here in front of everybody. I got a thing. I'm a rapper and stuff. They don't like rappers that be crying. That's just like not a thing people don't get over.
Deem, he met us in line at Revolution. Great stuff. He said, "Happy Saturday, fellas, and happy birthday, belated birthday, Reg. It was great to meet Will and Reg last week. Swerve's debut match was so good. Wishing a speedy recovery to Big E, but WWE is out of line for changing Pete Dunne into a character from the Little Rascals." And then the homie D-Lo says, "Sup, fellas. Hope all is well. This is for Reg's Henny Fund. Because I know I need some for Butch. And glad E won't need surgery." So yeah, great stuff on that. All right, so we have to continue. So we told a lot of our story last week, the travel woes, but now we got some fun stories to tell from
it was lit after that. Like, after like the podcast almost like got us good and we got everything together. We had a great podcast. Like, things started going pretty smoothly after that, I'd say.
Yeah. So let's finish up with our weekend in Orlando last weekend. So stuff was good. So we got back to Edition Financial Arena pretty much right after the podcast ended. I think you and I went and got some food and found we had to find you a smoke shop, which there was one right by us, but didn't know that until we had already driven like 3 miles out of the way.
Washington is putting my business all out in the streets, bro. Like, what?
They didn't have that on your rider, Rich?
Yo, what? Like, what? Like, what? I thought, like, I didn't like what's going on here. Like, yo, come on.
Hey, do we not know this at this point? This is
everybody.
An established.
Nobody's surprised here. Come on, nobody.
Yeah, that is an established fact, sir.
I don't know, man.
Man.
So we found that. Let's move it along.
Okay. We'll move it along. We will move it along. All right.
Yes.
So, we get to Edition Financial Arena. Met up with Hannah. Met up with Jesse. Shout out to JJ, who we also met. Yeah. JJ, big supporter of ours for a long time. And
JJ's the man.
That was great interaction. Appreciate you, JJ. The homie Chris came down too, and we had a long conversation. Very funny. A lot of funny things happened. Everybody was great. There was people like yelling, like Grapsody. My favorite probably moment of Grapsody recognition is we're walking in the Revolution line. Someone stops Will and goes, "Hey, I love your show on Fightful." And so Will's like, "Oh, thank you." And like I slapped the guy on the shoulder. I'm like, "Hey, thanks." And he looks at me like like he saw like, you know, like me sing like Bryan Danielson or something, and he was just like, I was like, yo, thanks, man. Like it was a
Superstar
lot
Rage,
of
bro.
that, and like I just want to say, Grapsody supporters, y'all are the best. Y'all made this weekend one of the best weekends I've ever had wrestling wise. Like this was far and away the best one. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are so dope, so supportive. It's I can't say enough about y'all, man. It's really dope.
Look, y'all, we did. So the concert, there's a lot of fun stories about the concert.
Oh, man.
Like now that it's out there, since Tony put it out there that Swerve was there, that was the funniest part of the weekend
Definitely.
to me. Was
He just tried to slide on the stage.
no, so like it wasn't. No,
Pretty
he was
much.
trying to hang. No, he was trying to hang out backstage, right? So he was like there, just trying to kick it with us. And yeah, I'm a bust out Swerve a little bit because it's funny as hell. But like he was like hanging out in the balcony and like nobody could really see him, right? And I'm like, that's probably the best place for him, so that nobody sees him at this concert. And he comes down and he's like, all right, I'm gonna make my way backstage. But of course, to get backstage, you got to cut right in front of the people. The people are going to see you. This man puts on a mask and like starts walking through, and I catch like 3 people photograph him, and he comes in, and I'm like, I saw multiple people photograph you. He's like, but I had a mask on. And I'm like, your shirt says Swerve. What are you talking about?
SRS is out there. SRS.
That's exactly what I said.
is
I was
out there.
like, Sean
Be
Ross Sapp is on the
careful.
other side of that
He
door.
is
Like,
looking for you right now. He's looking for you. You have to. And then as soon as I see Sean Ross Sapp, he's like, I know Swerve is back there. I'm like, yo, I don't know nothing. Please don't talk to me. I don't know anything.
and Nyla Rose is like, so she's like, so you just happen to be some guy in a mask with a Swerve shirt on, has all the Swerve's tattoos,
Same
but
build,
not
All
Swerve.
the
Same everything.
Happens to be 6'2".
Yeah.
We all
Dragons
don't look
coming
alike.
out the top
We
of
all
that
don't
mask.
look alike.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
That's what he
true.
gonna say, right?
That's what he can go with, Jeff. You're right. It could be like,
Yeah,
yo,
just like-
so everybody, we all the same? Is that's what y'all saying?
So yeah, that was fun though. Concert was fun. It was dope getting to be on stage and
Concert was crazy.
Yeah,
Mark
seeing
Henry
everybody.
walks backstage. Mark Henry's back here. The world's strongest man is here with Mark
Yeah.
Henry Jr. It's going I'm like, what is this? Life is wild. So like,
I know that is a big man too. I'm like,
Very big man.
the sound. I just want to really quick. The sound there was crazy. On stage, it sounded like I couldn't. I was rapping into an abyss. I can't hear nothing. No sound at
Right.
all. So like outside, it sounded great, but up there, it's like I don't know what was going on. Great experience.
You
Still,
pretty
I'm trying
much
get
just
my
have to
raps
listen for the
out.
beat,
Yeah.
and that's
yeah,
it. And
it's just
that's,
like
just
I'm
feel
gonna
it.
try
Yeah.
to ride this beat. I hope things don't sound crazy out there. They
Yo.
didn't sound crazy out there. Everything sounded dope. It was dope. Everything worked out. Shout out again 5,000 times. We've done this. Montezzi came through with some crazy stuff. He just like
Shout out to
orchestrated all these people. Josiah, Wrestle and Flow, incredible guy, incredible talent. Everything he did there was dope. He is such a professional. He got all of his stuff like right down to the T. Like, great
He's a
guy,
real
man.
good dude.
Incredible.
He's a real good
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
that
real good
that Josiah joint that he did over the move that dope beat, he killed that.
And that Mark Henry joint that him and Teasy got is fire. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is
He
Okay,
killed that.
yeah.
I was. There were points this weekend where I was kind of like doing the Squidward looking from the window, but
that was a very the theme was where's Phil? That was pretty much
And
the
so-
next question anytime anyone would talk to us.
Yeah, but I got tagged in a lot of stuff that were like, yo, where are you? And it'd be stuff like I would like it'd be pictures with you guys or like videos of you guys performing. I was like, yo, my guys are killing it, man. Like it just was cool to see it, man. Like and just watching the whole performance and watching my man that was recording it, and you could hear him like chant Grapsody the whole time. I'm like, yo, this is what is life, bro. This is crazy.
Yeah, it was great, and like I said, it's just a whole lot of
shout
fun.
out Rich too. He's in there too. Yeah, Rich was out
Yeah,
there.
Rich-
like, I
Rich
think actually,
was-
I tell everybody my favorite part was the sound check because we had like just like a bunch of I want to get like you, trying to get like you, black man's off, like all these black men just being like, yo, you out here killing it, no, you out here killing, no, you killing, like that. The sound check was just like love, man. That was so dope.
Shout out to Rich, man. I know Anthony was out there too. Shout out to Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony. And also, so the funny thing was, shout out Flash as well, because Flash got up there. He performed Swerve's new theme song, which, of course, the main chorus of is, yeah, swerve, when I drop. Yeah, and of course, that was when...
Don't put any of these pieces together. The guy with the mask and the Swerve shirt, not Swerve.
No, that was pretty much it. Like you
Swerve, but Swerve's not here.
If you're a subscriber to Fightful Select, FightfulSelect.com, $4.99. But if you are a subscriber to Fightful Select, you would have seen in Sean's story, he was like, there was a song that was performed that mentioned the word swerve like 100 times.
That just happened to be his theme song before we
street. Just lay it out.
So, but that was the thing. That was meant to be dropped as a hit. But that was all fun. I want to say, though, so we're going to talk about the next day, because the next day is really where shit went down, and it was fun. So, Revolution happened the next day. Honestly, great pay-per-view. I thought it was very well paced. I thought for a 4-hour show, you know, I've been to multiple AEW pay-per-views. The only one I haven't attended at this point now is I've never been to a Full Gear. But, you know, been to Double or Nothing, been to multiple All-Outs, been to Revolution. And as far as those are all concerned, there have been points where, like, there's been some huge exhaustion. I did not feel that in this show. This show felt like it was just very well paced for the crowd.
Yep. I didn't feel dead at any points. Like, there was no points where I was like, no. Whole time I was like, let's go.
This was by far the best buy-in they've ever put on. Like, all of the three matches were amazing.
The buy-in was really crazy. And yeah, it was just a fun show to be at. But I want to talk about the post show a little bit, because before we get into the cool parts of the scrum, there's some funny stories. So I had 2 tickets. I had my media ticket, but then I wanted to be front row for the debut of Shane Swerve Strickland. So I was front row. I was right there. I was not going to miss this.
Wonder how he got that. My friend Tony Khan, let me get that front row seat.
I bought it.
Thanks,
I bought a front row ticket. I legit bought a front row ticket, but I also had my media ticket as well. So I was not going to miss this. It was right there, front row. And so, of course, the media scrums, you know, when it comes time for the media scrum, they go to the section where all the media are, and they come collect everybody, bring them down to, you know, Phil knows and Reg knows, because you guys have done the media.
This is my first one, so.
Yeah, so I figured I'll stay in my front row seat the rest of the time, and then toward the end of the show, I will make my way over to the media section so I can join everybody for the media scrum. Anyway, I guess I got there too late, because I get up there and everybody's gone, and I'm like, oh shit, how the hell am I gonna get to the scrum now? And so I call Reg, and Reg is like, yeah, I don't know where we went. We just kind of like,
I don't know where we went.
Got us. Yeah, we just kind of like
take it right here, take it right here. I'm like, yo, what's going on here?
Yeah, and so Sean is like, okay, just go to the spot where we went and got our media credentials, and they'll let you in there. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I make my way outside and find my way back to that entrance.
At this point, I'm like, Will Washington's not coming. I'm going to have to represent for both of us here at Grapsody, because I don't know where he at.
Yeah, so shit is locked, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like not getting in, right? And so I happen to bump into Jesse, and Jesse was just trying to say bye to me and all that, and I was like, hey, I'm not trying to get inside right now. And she's like, I might be able to help. And so she picks up her phone, she calls Jeff Jones. And
the judge.
Yes, she calls Judge Jeff Jones, because they're friends. And Jeff Jones comes out, and it's also me and JJ, Wrestling Observer. So both of us, we're both stuck outside. And Jeff comes and gets us, and Jesse's like, hey, my friends JJ and Will are trying to get into the media scrum, but they're locked outside here. Can you help them? And Jeff's like, yeah, I guess I can, but like, I don't really know where I'm going, but yeah, I'll help you. And so he's like, all right, follow me. And so we go inside, we take a right. And let me tell you, he went the wrong direction. And he ended up taking us like way backstage, like deep backstage, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm in an area like I should not be in. And I see like Tony Schiavone and like Hangman's back there, and like all the TV production stuff. There's Jess Palumbo, like everybody's just backstage, just kind of doing like all the post show stuff, and I'm like, I am like way in the wrong spot. Oh shit. And Jeff was like, yeah, I don't know where we're going. And so, and then luckily I remembered because Reg had messaged me. He was like, hey, we're interviewing Sting right now. And Sting just happens to walk by. And so I'm like, okay, Sting will know where to go. And so I told Jeff, I'm like, hey, Sting just came from there. And he's like, okay, cool. And so he goes up to Sting, and he's like, hey, Stinger, where's the media scrum? Didn't you just come from there? And Sting's like, yeah, I just kind of wandered my way here, so I don't really know either.
I don't know where I came from.
Classic Sting.
And he's like, but look for a spot with white tile. And luckily he's like, okay, white tile, I know where to go. And so we end up following the floor till we find white tile. And I'm like, okay, I've been here before. Because I had gone to the media room before the show had started. And that's when we made our way in. And then it was like right during the Jungle Boy part of the scrum. So if you happen to hear a door open during Jungle Boy, that was me and JJ sneaking in and just sitting down in the back. But that is what happened. And
you finally showed up.
Yeah, I did finally show up, and it was like just in time because the next one up was CM Punk. And we get to the questions. And Reg over here is like, you know what? I'm ready to make somebody cry right now.
First off, I would just like to say that I am very salty because I was looking at the pictures of this media scrum, and I was like, yo, these guys have seats. We didn't have seats when we had media scrum.
Oh, it's a brand new setup, yeah.
I was standing looking at my man's feet. Like, come on, man. Like,
okay.
It is definitely
they were saying like, oh, isn't this much better? They kept saying that after the thing, like, isn't this much better scrum? Everybody's sitting down, everybody's relaxed and everything. So so like I said, this is my first ever media scrum. I don't know, like, I've never even watched one, if I'm keeping it honest. It's not really, like, I don't know, I don't know what it was. So I just, like, we show up, they're like, whisking us away. They bring us into a room. They're like, all right, we're going to bring in the talent, and you guys just start asking them questions. We're going to hand you a mic, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really prepare anything. I prepared one thing. Like, I was going to, like, Tony
we knew
Khan.
The one you prepared.
Yeah, I was going for one thing, but then so, like, they start bringing in the talent, and, like, as the thing goes on, I'm like, okay, maybe I do want to ask a question. So Jungle Boy comes up. I'm like, oh, hey, Jungle Boy, like, great match, like, what do you think about coming to California? You're a California boy. Like, that's going to be a big thing for you. Like, you grew up in LA. Like, this is big. You've been to the Forum, I'm sure, thousands of, like, a lot of times. So what's up, Jungle Boy? Blah, 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 blah. So, CM Punk comes in. I'm like, yo, CM Punk just came back to wrestling. Nobody ever thought he was going to be here. Like, I never in my media man thing ever thought I would even be able to ask CM Punk a question or talk to CM Punk, so it wasn't really, this just wasn't in the cards. So as you guys see at the show, he comes back with this old Ring of Honor theme, the AFI theme, old gear.
That's what that was. I didn't understand.
You didn't notice, you didn't get it because they didn't explain it to you. I get it. I don't know, whatever. So he comes back, he's 2003 CM Punk again. I know the importance of that because I'm ROH young boy. I was there at the time watching. I know everything. I know the history of CM Punk. So I know, like, this is a really important thing to a lot of people, just that theme, because there were people in the crowd that were emotional about this theme because it takes them back to a time, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of things have happened since then. So that's an easy question. Yo, I got a question for you. Yo, CM Punk, how was it to pay tribute to CM Punk? Isn't that dope? And
Waterworks, man. That was...
Man, listen. I'm not just saying this because you're my friend and you're my co-host here. I feel like you asked all the best questions. I'm just gonna.
Come on.
Like I feel like Jungle Boy responded pretty well to your Cali question. Of course, got Punk in his Barbara Walters moment.
I don't know how it happened, but it happened.
And of course, like the Tony question, which was the question that most of us were waiting to hear somebody ask. So yeah, I thought you asked the best question.
Yeah, and I Tony Khan, I wanted to be like, of course, like, yo, it's lit, Swerve is here, what's going down? But there was a controversial tweet. A lot of people are talking about blah, 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 blah. And on top of that, I would like to say on the record, it's not my fucking job to get Tony Khan to apologize to Swerve. I mean, it's not Swerve, Swole. I'll get some. Swole. It's not my job to get Tony Khan to apologize to Swole. It's not my job to get Tony Khan to do anything. I went in and did what I was supposed to do. Yo, this controversial tweet, you You bounce back. Yo, what happened? I did what I need to do. I'm not out here. People think you're supposed to be asking like all this. No, man, I did what I'm supposed to do. Yo.
Yeah, I think people get this idea when you get in there and you get in front of people. It's like, okay, we'll grill them. It's like,
yeah, what?
No. You gotta ask reasonable questions, and you gotta phrase things. Like, I do think you can ask tough questions, but there's a way to finesse it. You don't have to go in there and try and be gung ho.
But the questions still got to be asked, right? I think that's the thing.
Exactly.
Like there's tact, and then there's the actual asking of the question. Because you could have came in there and been like, "Yo," you could have flipped tables, and you would have been well within the right as a person. But as a professional, that's when you got to say, "Okay, no one else going to talk about," and that's the mark of a great interviewer, when you ask the question that everybody has on their mind and you present it, right? And then it's the way in which you present it. Because if it's taken in a different way, because I've seen him react to certain
That's
questions.
another thing that has to be in mind,
Right. And he's reacted in a way where you could tell it affected him and it was like self-conscious reacting in that way, but that's not on you. That's not on the interviewer. Right. You just here to ask a question, and we're just getting answers. So to ask the question and ask it in a way where it's respectable, where, like, I've had people walk away from me on the red carpet just for me to ask, what do you think of the show? Because you know why? They didn't watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't watch it, and they were stuck, and they walk away, and people will look at you like, yo, what did you say? I was like, yo, I just asked them if you watched the show. Right. But it's the way in which you ask it to where you can walk away and say, hey, I asked this question. It was, I did what I had to do. Great job on your part.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What did you think about his answer to the question, by the way?
He's doing it. Like, I mean, how could I really be mad? The Swerve's there. Like, that's like, if for me, that's Swerve is everything I want. And what they request, like, who's the guy for this? Swerve is the guy. So, like, and then Keith Lee was just signed, and my big homie's killing it in ladder matches, and Ricky Starks is murdered. Like,
we have to see AQA perform, by the way.
AQA destroyed it. Private Party's back. Like, there's all these things that are catering to me. Like I said from the beginning, it's a slow process. Even like we could be mad and upset about buzzwords and diversities and whatever created on whatever, but it's a slow process, and the process is now being put into motion. Look what's going on here. So.
Yeah, I mean,
my bad, y'all. I didn't hear his reaction to that. Did he have any remorse to it? Did he? Was it more so like, well, look at this?
No, it was more so about the. He more so tried to clarify what he meant in the tweet itself. That because
he said it was based on merit as well.
Because Reg had presented it in a way where he felt like he had bounced back from the tweet. To which his response was that he didn't feel there was much to bounce back from, because he was like, all of this stuff was in process already. That all of these black wrestlers that we had signed in the last couple of months, were already being looked at way back in at a certain time, and everybody that's being pushed right now, all the creative that's happening, had already been in place long before Big Swole's comments, long before the tweet, and that's what he was trying to say was that this was already in place, and that he didn't really feel like there was much to bounce back from, because he was like, diversity was important. And I did like his point about Sanjay, because that was he talked about Sanjay Dutt and how he felt like Sanjay Dutt gave him his first bit of representation as and because he was like me, they're the same age, so it wasn't like a thing. But he was like, but growing up, anybody who I felt represented by usually had like offensive, stereotypical gimmicks. And here I have Sanjay Dutt, who's just somebody who looks like me, who can wrestle, and that's all I've ever wanted to see. And I was like, okay.
And there's 500 of me's, the people that look like me that can wrestle now, and I see them all the time. So I just want to say that out loud too when people are like going crazy, like, yo, I am represented across a lot of places. Like Chris Bay is in Impact, he represents me. Like there's tons of Carmelo Hayes in NXT, he represents me. Private Party are in AEW, they represent me. Like there's people all over the wrestling spectrum that represent me, and it's not just about the WWE and AEW, as long as, you know, as much as we try to force it upon everybody.
I
Yes, sir.
So I will say this, as far as that topic is concerned, because you know me, I have said on this show, I said it back when he was in WWE, there's nothing more I want to see in the entire world than the success of Shane Swerve Strickland, because at the end of the day, before anything else, that's my family. I probably can't look at it objectively, but I think he is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Definitely. We saw last night.
I mean,
Yeah.
You better big up
I
your
tweeted-
family. Fuck objectivity.
Straight up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
So-
better
That
do
match with Nick Wayne, come on, man. He's turning
Yo,
up.
Yeah,
Swerve is crazy.
if you
I
guys
think
have
we all
not
got
watched
love for
that match,
Swerve.
Yeah.
watch
So-
that match, please.
So the thing is, I said it, like I said, when he was in WWE, I was all about it. I was like, you know, when Hit Row got drafted, people may recall I was a little bit like, because I noticed that it was no longer Isaiah Scott and Hit Row. They were trying to present Hit Row as all equals, and I had concerns about that because obviously I'm like, look, this man's got a 13-year career. These other three don't have that, and like you can't be
They're
presenting
not
these
equals.
three.
That's not a knock on
And
them.
it wasn't a
Like,
knock
you
on
always-
A. I wasn't trying to knock AJ. I wasn't
Not
trying to
really.
knock BFAB. It was more so just my feeling that I felt it was kind of a disservice when drafting them to present them as all on the same level, when it's like, no, you've got like a veteran performer in Swerve here, and I want to see him treated like a veteran performer. Which is why I was really happy when the moment he walked out on Revolution, the graphic says has won 11 champions, or yeah, what did it say? 13 championships and 11 promotions. I'm like, that's it, man. Don't drop him in your promotion like you conjured him up out of thin air. This is a man who has a wrestling career behind him before WWE, which is why the thing that really has been getting me is when I see when I saw people who are like, oh
Speak
yeah,
on
look.
it.
They're like, it's another WWE, ex-WWE guy in
He
AEW.
is
And I
not
thought,
a
look,
WWE guy.
here's the thing. Yes, Swerve wrestled in AEW, or WWE. He also wrestled in Lucha Underground. He also wrestled in MLW, Defy, Progress.
CZW, former CZW
Yeah,
world
former
champion.
CZW
Is he
champion.
CZW guy
Evolve.
too?
Yeah, you name it, he's performed there. He has performed with some of the best. He's been in the ring with Kenny Omega. He's been in the ring with the Young Bucks. So when you talk about like what kind of history this guy has in the ring, he has a lot of it. And so when I hear, oh, he's just another ex-WWE guy, like, I'm sorry, this guy's a 13-year career behind him. You know how long he was in WWE? 2 years. 2 years of a 13-year career. So,
It's like calling me a Sprint guy because I worked at Sprint for 2 years. No, watch out.
yeah.
You
and so,
know where I think, Will, you know where I think a lot of that does come from? It's because the publicity of the prestige or whatever of being at a company, just like you said, Reg, you may Sprint ain't even around no more, which is nuts.
Right.
But Sprint ain't even
That is
around
nuts.
no more, right? Like when you think of the black community is probably in shambles right now.
I'm
Right?
telling you,
Where
we've
the hell
been
is
down
Sprint?
bad.
But it's like you wrestled in all these promotions, and all of that is legit for the casual viewer. Like for like the hardcore wrestling fans, they're gonna be like, yeah, Will is right. For the casual fans, which may make up a bigger majority, they only know you from now WWE or AEW. So that's where a lot of that comes from. And I think, to your point, you made a great point that out of a 13-year career, only 2 was spent in WWE. But I would also counter with, that's kind of like what you see in sports, where there's certain players like Luka had a Eurobasket career, but people don't talk about that because he's in the NBA. And please, with the analogy, I know he's probably spent more time in the NBA now than he did there, but we knew about that before. But if he was to leave, they'd be like, oh, ex-NBA player, because the NBA is seen as the best league. You know what I mean?
right. But see, that was why I wasn't terribly happy with the way Swerve was brought into WWE to begin with.
Right.
Because if you look at the difference between, and granted they had obviously different careers, but if you look at the way Adam Cole was brought in as somebody who they were like world-renowned performer, somebody, they dropped him in as like somebody who you should know because Adam Cole Bebe was already a thing. They dropped him in the show and they were like, look, this is a guy who had been around the world, who had competed around the world, who had been a champion in multiple places. Adam Cole is a world-renowned performer. So he came in with people, even if WWE viewers didn't know what he had done before, they at least knew that he did stuff before. So he came in, and people had this idea of, okay, this guy probably matters, right? But like the way Swerve was dropped in was, like I said, it felt like they kind of acted like they conjured him up out of thin air. They kind of just dropped him in and were just like, this is a performer. This is Isaiah Swerve Scott. And I thought, you could be celebrating the stuff he's done before, and so I recognize that a lot of WWE viewers weren't necessarily presented with what he had done before.
Right.
And so in that sense, they only know him as a WWE guy. But this is a guy with a career. And so I've said all that to say that I know there's going to be a lot of impatience as things unfold with him. I feel like in 3 months, I'm going to be seeing tweets about, look, they signed Swerve, but he's not in the main event. So, like, look at this. He's wasted. I spend enough time on Twitter. I know how these things go.
Twitter is a place that would do that to you?
They would never. Not in a million years.
Twitter would give you half of a truth? Really?
Never.
So I'm just going to say this as far as that's concerned. Look at the current slate of AEW champions. You have Jade Cargill, the TBS champion. Scorpio Sky, the TNT champion.
Boom, boom, boom. Shout out Scorpio Sky for the victory. We'll
talk about that in a minute.
He deserved this for so long, man.
Scorpio Sky is the TNT champion. The Jurassic Express are the tag team champions. Britt Baker, world champion. And Adam Page, world champion. Out of everybody I named there, just 6 people, 5 of them were on the first Double or Nothing. So my point here is that homegrown people, it took them 2 years, almost 3 years to get them to where they finally got. So there is a historical track record for how they've pushed their homegrown talent. And so I just want people to keep in mind as you start looking forward. Keep the track record in mind. I mean that for everything. Keep it negatively in mind. Keep it positively in mind. But always look at the track record. When it comes to the amount of time it's taken to push certain talent, the time, like Sammy Guevara is another one. He just lost the title, but Sammy Guevara had been around since day one. Keep the track record in mind about how guys are going to get there, because I think Jungle Boy is another one who people are going to look up in a year from now, probably with the singles title, and it'll be like, look, 4 years it took, but Jungle Boy is here now.
He's here.
Yeah, and so
and shout out to AEW. They're about to have a black woman and a Mexican woman as women's champions. So
I'm not going to look. Maybe? I'm not the one who's going to look at...
Shut up, Thunder Rosa. That's what I'm trying to say. She's about to win that AEW championship. I was trying to be subtle about it. Let's go, Thunder Rosa, baby.
100%
Get that
she's going to win it.
Championship, baby. It's time.
She's all about to win it. But my point here is, as far as like anybody who wants to come... I don't know what Source Butch is going to be like. Honestly, I look at it this way now. I had the inside track for months as far as like what his plans were or what he was hoping to do. Of course I did. Will. But as far as what he's going to do now that he's there, I actually don't want to know. I don't want to know the results of matches. I didn't want to know the results of matches when he was in WWE. When he was challenging for the Cruiserweight title, there were multiple times I was disappointed because I thought he was going to win. Because I didn't want to know. I like to be on the edge of my seat, cheering my man's on, and being like, oh my God, is he going to win? He's going to win. He's going to win. And then he gets a victory or he doesn't. I love that kind of stuff. I want to watch wrestling still as a fan, even if it's a fan of somebody that I know. I still want to watch it that way, and that's how I'm going to continue watching it. So as far as his creative plans are concerned, I have no idea. I don't want to know. I just want to see it unfold. But as far as my patience for his creative is concerned, I'm going to look at the track record. I'm going to look at, I see that I saw a slow rise for Jurassic Express, and like, you know, it wasn't like it was. They were on the bottom and suddenly they were on top. It was like, no, we saw Jurassic Express rise, right? We saw them. They faced, out of 12 AEW pay-per-views, 4 of them were matches, or was it 4 or 3? I think 3 of those 12 pay-per-views, so literally a quarter of them were against the Young Bucks. Like, they definitely built Jurassic Express up. And Hangman Adam Page was a build, right? Like that.
Yes.
That's his story, was 2.5 years to get us there. So as far as I'm concerned, I want to watch it play out, and I want to see it play out. I know this is the whole like let it play out thing. I know. I'm not saying that as much as I'm saying that, like, track record wise, now that I have seen that the originals are getting their pushes right now, I don't necessarily feel like I want to see anybody who is just recently signed jump in front of the originals right now.
Not even if it's your cousin.
Yeah.
So Will, can I, and this is for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely get your point on patience, and I agree with the homegrown build where you're seeing those AEW originals, I guess you could call them, finally stepping into the spotlight and getting those positions. But I do think AEW will tell you who they want to push when they push them, right? Because let's keep it a stack. They made Dylan McKay's son look like a G. Like I've never seen somebody shake off more title hits to the head than Jungle Boy. Like Jungle Boy, they presented him in a way where he looks like a guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't consider I'm calling him Shane, I'm calling him Swerve, I'm calling him Isaiah. I got all the names for Swerve, right? I don't really consider him a homegrown talent because he didn't start in AEW, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole got a world title shot in 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how quick FTR got in when they got their world titles, right? Like and like I said, people can check me on that. But
so
when
that's
they
what I was
want
going
to
to say.
push somebody, they come in and they get it. So
They show it.
So
I'm
that's
watching
the other thing I was
2-3,
going to
I'm
say.
watching for Swerve too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was going to say, because watch the track record, right? Because I said for both sides of it. Because on one end, it's like, yeah, they have pushed, they have taken their time with certain guys, but then, like, Miro had the TNT title in less than a year. So there are certain guys.
Too. I get it.
But, like, as far as certain guys are concerned, I think there are guys where you can be like, okay, this is a guy that, look, there's no other way to present him other than a guy who's going to dominate. Keith Lee. I don't know how you take your time with Keith Lee. You can't, because that's a guy who's just going to keep winning and winning and winning. So Keith Lee's one of those guys where I don't see, and Keith Lee and Miro are along those same lines, where it's like, look, if this is somebody whose track record is a character that is based around they dominate, then at that point you can't do anything but have him dominate quickly. Jade Cargill is the same way. Jade Cargill was somebody who you knew the writing was on the wall the day she stepped in. This is somebody who's going to come in and dominate.
She forced their head. There was no way. Like when she came in after that first match, it was like, yo, she gonna have to learn on the job because she can't lose.
She
That
can't
was
lose.
like a hand. I feel like that was like we cannot. We have to figure this out.
And Keith Lee is along those same lines. I feel like Keith Lee is one where you're just going to have him dominate. Wouldn't surprise me if he's the guy to beat Scorpio, just because, like, what else are you going to do? He has to. What
we going to do a Wardlow, Will?
Wardlow's going to lose. Wardlow's about to.
No, I know now, but I mean, when we talking about Peckett orders and
I think Wardlow's moving on to world title things.
Like I don't know, like that, title, and that's going to be interesting to see how they play that out, right? Because there are certain guys who, because now we've established that, hey, time served kind of gets you a little bit of a bit ahead. Like, yeah, Wardlow is a guy who's been there since the beginning.
I just think kind of like how the TNT title was presented. That's not a title for Wardlow because he's going to be power bombing guys 20 times, and the TNT title was like the match. Like Sammy Guevara has made it like the match of the night championship. Like when it's like the TNT championship, it's like
them billing as their workhouse.
Right, exactly. Like how the IC title was back in the day.
It's a balance, right? Because you see a lot of guys like, because then, man, you got Black. You got Black there. You got Andrade, who is kind of like, I don't know what they're doing with him.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like he's kind of like middle of the road there, and
Right.
it's where we put him with. He had a merger with the Hardy.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
like, yo, what do we do? You know, that's why it's not as easy as people think it is to balance these talents and everything.
Mhm.
But when you show who you want to push, and you know, as someone who is who works in different spaces where it's like DEI, right? That equity is important because that's fair. That it's not we give you all equal pushes. It's what's equitable at the time, what's fair, like what's justifiable based on what you need. Like someone like Swerve, right? He has all these accolades. He's coming in. He should get a position. What would be the fair thing? It's like, yo, show him out, put him on Dynamite. If this is what it is, Dynamite is the A show, right? He should be having matches and build up, like then go to Rampage and do all of that. Because I see like Rampage is like that extra hour. It's like the dark matches after the main show, but like for the whole hour that we produce, and we're just gonna give fans like fire matches that they want to see. But put your resources where they need to be with all these people and put them in a position. And if you're telling me you're making this position, you are gonna amplify these people. You're gonna make it your point to show a more representative, a show that's more representative of the complete population that's watching you. Then I need to see that equity in there with all these wrestlers. I need to see that, like, and that's with everything, every corporation, everybody. The action scream where words whisper, and inaction is silent. So I need to see that action.
I feel like Rampage is kind of like their show where they will try and showcase certain people when they first came in. Because like when Punk first got there, it was like the Punk show, and then when Cole came in, he was having a lot of Rampage matches.
It's almost like in my head, I can't hear the Rampage theme song without going straight into "It's All About the Boom" because the opening match of Rampage for so long was an Adam Cole match.
Yeah.
I
So
think
like
that's
my
gonna be
head,
Swerve for a little bit now. Too.
but like again, track records now. Like we're starting to see that there is a pattern to bring guys in, because Brian was working Rampage as well. And so it's like you bring guys in, you have them work Rampage a little bit until you.
Brian's theme is so much better with that woman singing on it too. I just want to say it out loud. It's way better like that. I love it.
Yeah, but that makes sense to your point, Will, because it comes after like if you go to Dynamite, you're there for 3 hours because you're watching Dynamite and the Rampage taping. So if CM Punk speaks or Bryan Danielson speaks, they're more than likely to have a match on Rampage. So you get to see everybody on at least the people that they signed, and Tony Khan put all that money up. He's like, you're going to see them. What Dynamite or Rampage, you're going to see these men wrestle.
I kind of look at Rampage as kind of what it was originally sold as, which was because I kind of look at it as a collective, because my brain can't turn off the fact that it was taped after Dynamite, right? So like, you know, the point that it was always said was Rampage is our third hour, and like I always look at it as like, you know, it's the same way that Raw is 3 hours. It's like the Rampage is the third hour of AEW television, and so therefore because like I said, I can't turn it off. I can't just unsee that these are the same fans that I just saw on Wednesday, right? So I'm like, this is a continuation of what I saw on Dynamite just a couple of days ago. Unless I know Rampage is live, and it's pretty obvious when it is. But usually my brain is just like, which is why, by the way, when the Hardys came out on Rampage this week, I'm like, they just went backstage and just like changed clothes. Like Matt Hardy was like, "Nah, I'm gonna put the other look on."
It's the Hardys. We know they're in the building.
Yep. So that's just the way my brain sees the show. But either way, I think that I don't know. There's some encouraging stuff right now that I'm seeing. As far as we could talk about our fourth thing on the list, which is the victory of Scorpio Sky. He used his "Who We Are" theme.
Let's go, baby.
Shout out to Omega Sparks.
Yeah, this is a pretty big deal, especially coming from me, California guy. I've been watching Scorpio Sky wrestle on Wrestle since 2003 now. Like I've been seeing this guy, Scorpio Sky, that used to have a mask on, used to wrestle for Rev Pro,
Mason
California,
Andrews,
lucha based guy. It turned into this. He did a little bit of MMA. Like, he's come a long way to get to this moment. I think for a while he was actually turned off of pro wrestling because he wasn't getting what he needed to from WWE.
Yeah. Didn't
it wasn't
he have like a major injury too?
Yeah, he had like some injuries. He had like, it was at a point where he was just like kind of done with everything that's going on here. And to go from that to being, you know, first AEW tag team champion, and now getting this super huge moment, beating Sammy Guevara, who has had a crazy, insane TNT championship run. Every match that he had is on fire, crazy. He brings the crowd back it never fails. The crowd could be like, okay, we've been here for a long time. Sammy Guevara come and hits like 2 big giant spots and they're right back in it. That guy had an incredible run, but Scorpio Sky got the victory over him, becoming the new TNT champion. Big moment for him. He's worked so hard to get here, so shout out to Scorpio Sky.
So I will say, right, really quick, I guess, as we get into the mode of eulogizing Sammy Guevara's run, that there is a culture right now among AEW fans of turning on title reigns that you had been asking for.
I mean, that's wrestling culture. Right?
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
any wrestling company.
But yeah, it's really happening a lot in AEW, and I'm noticing that, like, you know, people were screaming it's time to end Kenny Omega's title reign, but then when it's over, everybody's like, man, Kenny Omega, he had a great title reign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and in hindsight, it keeps happening. Where
it
like
does.
they're begging for Britt Baker to win the title. Now there's all this shit talk on Britt Baker. 2 months from now, people are going to be like, man, Britt Baker, she was such a dope champion. Yeah, that was quite a run, right? And Sammy Guevara, pretty much like a week into his title run, people are like, man, I'm sick of Sammy Guevara. I want to see somebody else with the title. And I'm sure in hindsight, we're going to look at Sammy Guevara's title run. Well, Hangman's getting it a lot right now. Even though every Hangman match has been fire, but
Hangman Page, jeez Louise,
people are like,
guy.
man, Hangman's not working out, but of months you're gonna see people posting pictures of Hangman.
I am
like
eating crow
like,
when it comes to Hangman. That man switched everything I was thinking and said, you know what, let me show you. And he has showed me. Every title defense has been super duper fire.
Okay.
He is a great world champion, man.
Now I will say Sammy's first run was slightly underwhelming, and then
the pieces weren't put together well enough at that time. Like, it came together for a second run for sure.
But the second run I thought was much better, and he just came through every single time. Cody's
last match, man. Like,
Cody's last match at AEW. But I think his run's gonna be remembered quite well. I think that people are going to look at this TNT title reign as like, damn, he had some banger-ass matches. He had the match with Darby was great. The match with Andrade was great. Then he turned around and had a match with Darby and Andrade that was great.
MJF match?
People are going to look at Sammy as a solid TNT champion.
Oh, I forgot about the MJF match. That match was fire.
That was before he was TNT champion.
Yeah, that's still, though, man. Just like, you got to mention it.
But people are going to look at this run well. I think that because like people are looking back at Darby's run well, but I remember while he was champ, there were people complaining like, "Man, I just want to see Darby lose the title."
Really?
But
I don't remember that.
It just keeps happening. It's a circle of like, I'm sure. Isolate this clip in like 4 months when we're like,
it's coming.
The first time I see somebody like, man, take the belt off Thunder Rosa, isolate this clip.
I already see people doing it with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yeah, where they get dunked on a lot by people. Trust me, and the thing is, they're going to look back at this reign. It's another one where they're going to be like, damn, that was a fire reign. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus had some dope title defenses.
They have.
And it's a continuing circle. It's a never-ending loop. Time is a flat circle. But that said, Scorpio Sky, what was interesting, I guess thanks, Tony, because Tony went back and liked a tweet of mine from
did he
from back in November where I had said that I felt like it was like November 4th, where I had said that I thought Scorpio Sky was going to beat Sammy, and that's where and that was 4 months ago, because it felt like he was being positioned for it, and I felt like the signs were there. Because I've seen a lot of people kind of calling this an out of nowhere win, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it was. I felt like if
he hasn't lost in 364 days, how is that out of nowhere?
But the other thing was, like, I felt like, but there, the counter to that is going to be that he was only winning on Dark.
Yeah, whoever cares.
But even on Dynamite, I felt like, no, they were kind of positioning that where, like, as much as people don't like it, and I don't like it, but Dan Lambert stuff, he kept kind of pushing America's Top Team to get the TNT Championship. That was like the thing they kept doing. And they would throw Ethan Page in there to get the title shot and lose. And that was what I tweeted when Phil was like, hey, Scorp's #1 when he was that week in November, I think it was November 4th, that Scorpio was the #1 ranked.
He was 11-1 at that point, I think.
Yeah. And so I tweeted, I think Scorpio's going to win. And my response to that was that I think he's going to win because I think they keep giving Ethan Page these title shots and he loses because the story they're trying to tell is that the real force in America's Top Team is Scorpio Sky. And once he gets his shot, that's it. And there were little signs. Like if you watch any of the TNT title defenses, you kept seeing Scorpio Sky at ringside watching him.
Showing him
they kept showing him watching the title matches.
Or on the side.
But and that was my thing was I'm like, I think they're trying to tell us that he's scouting Sammy, that he is getting Sammy figured out. So when he finally gets his title match, he's going to be the one to beat him. And I feel like that's what the story was there that whole time. Like he was the one, they cut to him a couple of times during the ladder match. Cody's 5-star match. Cody's 5-star ladder match for the TNT title, the unification match. They cut the Scorpio multiple times at ringside watching the match. And I thought, okay, they're clearly trying to tell us that Scorpio is observing all of this because he is preparing to beat whoever wins this match. And I think he was originally going to beat Cody because, like, you can see how the story played out where it's now Sammy and Ty versus Paige Van Zandt and Scorpio. But, like, I feel like that was originally going to be Scorpio and Paige Van Zandt versus Cody and Brandy.
That's what they were setting up pretty much with all the Lambert and Brandy stuff.
Yeah.
But this goes back to Tony's response to Reg's question, because I saw a lot of people that were like, this is optics, or this is like in the moment, because people are trying to make it a response to the Swole thing. Not everything that he's done this year is a response to the Swole thing. I think the timing is just messed up.
It is.
Hey, I'm not saying that to let him off the hook, but I do think the timing is messed up because...
and keep in mind, we're not letting anybody off the hook. This is literally just observations.
Yeah, I just think the timing just makes it look funny.
That's the thing I was mad most about, by the way. Now that all the news is out, I will say the thing I was most mad about when that when all of that hit was the Who We Are album.
Yeah, I'm like, yo.
We have been on that since November. We have been working on that since November, and I was like...
I'm like, this is the absolute worst time this week could ever come in my life.
Exactly.
That's even more of a reason. That's even more of a reason why there should be some contrition. You know what I mean? There should be some contrition for Swole and for y'all that put in that work, and for them wrestlers that now it looks like whatever was cooking wasn't even on the menu because you want to go out and talk shit to somebody who just asked for some changes. Like y'all be asking, like all the black wrestling fans has been asking for years and years and years. Like that's the part that infuriates me, just being a black person in America, is that whenever we achieve, it's always a caveat. There's always some type of qualifier and or that they try to put on us, right? And you are in a position where you affect. It's kind of like people speaking like anytime Elon Musk talks about a cryptocurrency and it goes up, you have the ability to affect that, right? Now for me, I feel you, Will. Like you could see it, right? I just didn't know if it was actually going to happen because I saw this man grab that cinnamon donut a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I'm like, well, why he got to keep losing? Like, I think that's one of my biggest criticisms with AEW is that long-term storytelling. It's like it's either one extreme or the other. We get short-term or it's like saga. You know what I mean? I was like, at some point, Scorpio Sky is someone who I got put on to later on, and when I see him, I'm like, that man is too good to be waiting on. Like he's not the best kept secret. He's not that, and you know, and this isn't like just saying that because I want to. It's no agendas or nothing behind it, right? It's just I see it. I don't even think he should be with these top team dudes.
No,
maybe Paige, definitely Paige. I don't think
men of the year are dope.
Yeah, I think Paige. I like Ethan Page, right? But I don't think that he needs it, right? I don't think that he did that, and that's just my personal opinion. I didn't think, and that's why even when Wardlow got the face of the revolution when he grabbed the brass ring, right? I'm like, okay, so now we gotta wait 2 years. Now we gotta wait 2 years for him for it to come to fruition. But you know what I'm saying?
Here's my thing with that. So when people are like, okay, the timing gets funky and it looks like optics. Oh, he's booking all these wrestlers. Like, yo, Wednesday was like, hey, black people are getting title shots. We're winning. And I think people were like, oh, he's doing this because of that. And I don't think that's the case because everything that was in that show has been worked up before January. The Scorpio storyline has been at least November. And I would argue it's been longer than November. I would argue it's been a year-long story. And even Dante's title match, that was much longer than just this year. They've been pushing Dante all last year. Man, you could go into...
It was a nice surprise.
Yeah, you can go into the Acclaimed and how the Acclaimed have been on TV constantly. Like, I don't think that was just a this year thing. But the Scorpio thing, because I've also seen people go, okay, well, his streak is padded. Like, it's not really a real streak. Hey, guys.
Every streak is padded.
Let me tell you a secret. That's the point. It's supposed to be padded because he's a heel. He padded the streak so that he could get the title match. That's the whole point.
I would have liked to see some of those matches on like Dynamite or Rampage. I keep it real. Like it's too much wrestling, bro. There's so many federations. There's so many leagues and stuff. And with AEW, it's like I get it. If you are a completionist and you watch everything, then you know everything going on. You watching the vlogs. You watching all of that. But I think you do legitimize the padding because we know we suspend disbelief watching this stuff. Or I'm watching a million-year-old dinosaur wrestle with the tag team title, right? We suspend we suspend belief all the time. I would just say that there's a way to do it to where, okay, if he's on Dynamite and he's winning, they're like, yo, this man just keeps winning. Then he's on Rampage along with Dark, like you build it up that way. Because for me, when I heard he's like, I haven't lost in a year, I was like, brother. Where are you? Where singles? I'm like, are we counting everything? Because I see you in six-mans and stuff like that. I'm like, damn. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh, they must be counting Dark. But I think there's a way you can legitimize it, right? Or being on one of the two shows. Because then to your point, it's like, guys, he's been at least once a month. You've seen this man win a match. At least once a month, you've seen him win a match. So this isn't coming out of nowhere. But once again, I think those actions kind of put it to where it looks like it's coming out of nowhere, but then when you think about it, at least some of the stuff you could see the tea leaves. You could read the tea leaves from before and know where it was coming.
I think they learned their lesson though, because the first time he challenged for the title, remember he had that winning streak on Dark and nobody saw it, right? And so people are like, oh, I don't think it would have meant as much if he would have won then, because you're using him as a baby face and you're giving him a title, you're giving him a streak that nobody saw, and you're giving him a promo that they showed later on Dynamite, but he gave that promo on Dark, which that promo was awesome, by the way. But I don't think that was it. I don't think that was the right time to give him that win as a baby face. And then he challenged again after he won the brass ring, and I still don't think that was it. I still think you needed time, because like this story that they're telling with him is that, all right, well, he earned both of those title shots. You can make a case that he kind of didn't earn this title shot, and that's kind of the point. He's a heel. He's like, no, I did that. I did the go on Dark and have all the matches, and I came and I knocked down the door and I got the title shot and I lost. I did what you asked me the other time. I won that ladder match and I still didn't get the title. No, you're gonna give me my title shot, and I'm gonna tell you I've been on the streak, even though it's not a great streak, even though if you look at the streak and look at the guys he's beat, it's not that impressive. But he's just gonna pat it that way because he's a heel and he's got Lambert behind him. Like, no, he's the guy.
I get what you're saying. So the times he did get it legitimate, the times he got the shot legitimately, he lost.
Exactly.
Right.
Now that he essentially got the shot in a way where nobody saw it, he won. Okay, I get because like the thing about Scorpio's always been an interesting case to me because it's never felt like they weren't behind Scorpio, right? Like Scorpio got that shot against Chris Jericho. Scorpio,
first man,
to almost immediately, they did the whole. Really, when you think about the original tag team title tournament. What's going on in Oakland, Rich?
I don't know, man.
He got 5 stars. He got 5 stars right now. He has to wave off the stars
it's
right now.
Saturday, the sun's out. Oakland niggas do not know how to act. No, just last night. So check it out. On the Thursday night, I went out to this place. I went out to the bar, like, I'm going to celebrate my birthday. And I saw this really cute chick. Her name is Harriet. I'm never going to forget about you, Harriet. I'm going to find you again. So I'm like, damn. The next night, I'm like, yo, I gotta go back and find Harriet. Like, she's a baddie. So I go up to the place, park. There's 2 guys standing outside of the place. One of the guys has a gun. He's just waving his gun around, just like
just doing a hammer dance.
They're playing a game. I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, I should probably leave. So I ended up going home because, like, I'm not trying to die trying to find Harriet, but I'm gonna find you, right? Harriet. I'm putting it on record.
You in Oakland, right?
Yeah. It's normal behavior, which is wild.
So what I was saying about Scorpio though, was that no, it's all good. Again, it was like when you think about the original TNT or not TNT, the tag team title tournament, the original tag team title tournament where he wasn't supposed to be in it, but then they jumped Christopher Daniels at the start of it, and so he had to then perform it basically his in his street clothes. We had one shoe, right? And they did that whole match because that was the build of the tag title tournament. Was that it was essentially Scorpio's tournament. He won the tournament himself by jumping into something he wasn't even scheduled to be in, and then won the entire thing. Like that was his story. And it's always felt like there was something behind him, and that as soon as that moment comes, we're gonna push him, because it was like, okay, now that when they first went down in the pandemic and they were like short on content, they had this whole video package on Scorpio Sky. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but they did this whole thing on him. And then there was as soon as things resumed and they had shows running at Daly's Place again, it was like, nah, he's going solo. We're actually going to remove him from SCU. Not even an explanation. We're just going to remove him from SCU because we want him to have the solo push. And then he goes and has the match with Cody. He loses. And then it felt like he was going to have the rematch with Brody. And like, if you remember, they had like a stare down at All Out that year. Scorpio got injured. I think. Yeah, he got injured. He was out for a few months. He comes back. He works the face of the Revolution ladder match. He wins it, and then it was like, okay, you could hear him on commentary hinting at the heel turn. And I think the whole plan was he loses the match to Darby and then wins the rematch. But except it was like, I don't know what slowed all that down, but
they signed a lot of people too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they signed a lot of people in that time that you mentioned it, Will.
They did.
That's what I'm also thinking. Like the book slowed
and it was
that down.
But it was like this whole time, it still always felt like from like jump, still somebody, and there's only one person in AEW who runs these things, but it's like it always felt like there was something behind Scorpio. Scorpio has never felt like anybody that they've ever let the gas. I won't say that they ever fully put the gas down on, but he's never somebody where it was like, we're done with him. Like that never felt like the case with Scorpio. It's always felt like literally from jump, literally from that tag title tournament, that he is a guy that they're behind. And it's just a matter of finding that moment for him, and this was the one. And he won. And the thing that I liked about this match was that despite the fact that there were a lot of ATT shenanigans, Scorpio did not cheat. He won clean.
He worked that back after after Sammy took that stupid dump.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness gracious,
it was
Sammy Guevara, be careful out there, bro.
I know that would
You were
look
right when you
disgusting.
said Sammy Callahan the first time because he's as reckless.
You know, for real,
Yo,
Bro,
big
like you don't got
facts.
to like we get it.
Stupid bump.
No, we got it.
Yeah,
We got
not
it,
have
bro.
to do
We got
that.
it. No, we don't
Please
need
don't.
that. No, we don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
So look, so that match saw Sammy take the he took that bump, but like even in the ending sequence, it was all played up really smart to where nothing changed what Sammy and Scorpio were doing, because the ending sequence saw Sammy go for the shooting star press, Scorpio gets the knees up, and then Dan Lambert gets on the ring apron, which to allow Ethan to do something. Ethan was going to interfere, but then Ty stops him, and then Ty gets attacked by Paige Van Zandt. But none of that affected what was happening with Scorpio and Sammy, to where Sammy sees it for a second, turns around and gets hit with the TKO 1, 2, 3. But there was no low blow. There was because I was worried. I was like, oh, he's gonna low blow him or something. But I'm like, and we've seen that a million times. I'm done with low blows right now. Like we literally just saw one last week, and he didn't. He just hit the TKO and won. And I thought, oh, that was smart. And how none of that, all of that happened was playing out. But it didn't change the outcome of Sammy and Scorpio. Sammy and Scorpio still played out with Scorpio winning basically clean.
Well, I respect it. You looking the other way because I'm looking the other way too because he was distracted for that split second. Sammy was distracted for at least half a second. He didn't get touched, but
Right.
It was.
He was distracted by all of it playing.
Focus on what's happening in the ring. Focus on what's happening in the ring, right?
Right. So what I'm saying is, as far because what I'm saying as far as Scorpio is concerned, because everything as far as Sammy loss is concerned was Sammy's fault. Sammy went for that 630 through a table that he introduced, and he got distracted by all of the shenanigans at ringside. But Scorpio himself did not do anything to, and that's what I mean when I say he won clean. He didn't cheat to do anything.
Yeah,
Sammy,
he didn't himself break the rules.
He didn't break any rules. Yep. Sammy Guevara introduced the table, which he splashed through, that injured his back. Scorpio just took advantage of all the things that Sammy Guevara did. He let his girlfriend distract him at ringside. None of that is on Scorpio. He just won. So either way, I'm happy. I've been a big Scorpio Sky fan as well. And I'm happy to see his music play out. I was just happy to hear all of that. And I'm happy to hear, by the way, that the Who We Are themes, pretty much it's at wrestler discretion is what the official statement was as far as using those songs.
Use that Who We Are beat. That private party joint, fire.
Yeah, unfortunately for myself, I made 2 songs that were for the person and not for the wrestler because I'm sentimental like that. That's how I do it.
Yours is more of a Will Hobbs story, and it's like, and I love that song. I made the beat. I would love to be hearing that every week.
As a Will Hobbs fan, it doesn't really fit his persona now, so I'm not upset that it doesn't. It's like I made a song for my friend, not for like the masses just to hear.
We didn't even tell the Will Hobbs story. Like we won't tell all of it, but that story was funny as hell. So after we drop off Jessie at her hotel after the concert, we started to pull out of the hotel parking lot, and Reg goes, hey, is that Will Hobbs standing there on the corner? And I'm like, oh, that's probably some dude who looks like Will Hobbs. We get closer, I'm like, nah, that's Hobbs standing there on the corner.
No, what happened was that was right after the concert, and he was supposed to come to the concert. And everybody's like, where the hell is Will Hobbs? So I rolled down the window. I said, yo, why didn't you return my text? And so, because
he turns around,
a big giant black guy. Like, who else is it going to be standing out here?
I don't know. I thought, look, all right, we're in Orlando. This could literally be anybody. I'm not just going to yell out my window, hey, Will Hobbs. And then he turns around and it's not Will Hobbs. Mm-hmm. Like, but it was. And so, we were just like, hey, get in the car. And so he gets in and
I gave him some shit. I was like, are you winning the match tomorrow? And he's like, hell no, he didn't win the match, man. I wanted him to win the match. He should have won the match
for you, bro. Wow.
Yeah.
He never spoils the match. He legit never gives me up anything. And I hate him because he only gives me 1-word answers to every question I ever ask him. That's the big homie. He was supposed to give me an autograph for my CD, but he had to go do these media experience and be a media man and work for AEW. Shout out to the big homie. That was he took a very scary spill in that that ladder match. At one point, he like went over the top rope and like missed it, and like, it was scary. A lot of scary spots for a lot of guys.
Yeah,
Ricky
a lot of scary
Starks,
spots.
his neck, that last power bomb onto the ladder. Like, you guys, careful out there.
That Spanish fly off the stage, I was very scared for Isaiah Cassidy.
Careful,
like,
you guys. Jeez, man.
Everybody.
There's no reason. There's no reason. Like, even in my most disbelief, like, I couldn't believe that he took that. Like, when I saw it, I was like, okay, how's this gonna work? Then when he hit the move, I was like, oh no. Like, I saw it happen. I'm like, yo, are they gonna hit the tables? And then when they crashed through, my first thought was, yo, I hope Cassidy's all right, because he ate the most out of that.
He did.
You know what I mean? And then and you know, they're selling it, so we don't know. So I'm looking at the ref. I'm like, all right, everything is fine.
Yeah,
okay.
no. Aubrey was the biggest tell there when she because you know the to break the magic of pro wrestling, the biggest indicator that somebody's all right is the hand squeeze. Referees will squeeze a hand, and if a wrestler squeezes back, that's the indication that they're okay. And I watched her run over, squeeze Isaiah Cassidy's hand, and then release in a okay, we're good moment. And so when she did that, I was like, all right, relief.
Man, shout out to Isaiah Cassidy, by the way. He did some very understated stuff this week.
He's been working on it for a minute too. Like,
that stare into the camera when he was hugging Matt, and I was like, oh, he's gonna turn on him. Yeah, you can see it, and him giving that thumbs down this week.
Bro, Hardy Boys versus Private Party.
That's about to happen. You know what's funny is, one, Private Party made me feel so old when they told the story a couple years ago. But 3 years ago, they were talking about how they grew up Hardy fans, and you know, the Hardys were their guys. So I'm really happy for them. Like, the fact that this is happening to them, for them, and it's like, I know I have to watch it from the perspective of them turning on the Hardys and all that, but I'm just like happy for them.
They're just gonna be happy little guys.
Imagine just getting to the level where your heroes want to work with you.
And it's funny thing is not just Private Party. There's like 20 teams in AEW that all want to work with the Hardys so bad.
Right.
So,
but that's the thing. That's what made me feel old. Is it's like when Matt and Nick Jackson say that they grew up idolizing the Hardys. You know, they're about the same age as me, so I see it as like they saw the same Hardys I did. But when Isaiah Cassidy said that, yeah, man, I love the Hardys, like in 2007 when they beat Cena and Shawn Michaels, and I was like, that's like late Hardys. What are you talking about? That's like reunion Hardys.
The Hardy men.
Yeah, definitely.
The Hardy men.
But you know, that's their era, right? Like that's who they saw as the Hardys, and it's the same thing when Top Flight talks about, you know, we grew up Young Bucks fans, and I'm like, of course you did, because you guys are only 22.
Yesterday, yeah, exactly.
You guys are 22 and 20, 10 years ago. Yeah, why wouldn't you guys be seeing, talking about the late generation me, Young Bucks? Like, yeah, you guys did grow up with that. I was doing podcasts when they started. What are y'all talking about?
Man, so. Somebody, I can't remember which one of my followers, shout out to them, they made this great analogy, because I was like, man, how fitting is it that Dante is getting that title match the night that Jeff is going to debut, because there are a lot of parallels between Dante and Jeff. And somebody responded to that and was like, yeah, I feel like Private Party is kind of more similar to heel, Edge, and Christian. I was like, they are.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's read some.
I want to see turn up, man. Like, they've been there for a minute. They're AEW originals.
They are.
You know what I mean? And I even like the their intro where they're going into the VIP section before they go into the, like, that shit is really innovative, because you had Eminem, right? Like that with the red carpet, and we've seen those type of things, but to have it look like the club, and they're coming in and they're going on a lot, and they're coming in before they go to the ring, I thought that was, I want to see more of that. Like, I hope they could get back to that.
Yeah, because I want to see
when they started, right?
Right. No, they were baby faces, and I want to see more of their characters play out. Because remember 2 years ago, because wrestling Twitter sucks like that. But there was the whole comparison between the Street Profits and Private Party, and it was like
Hated it.
you had
There's
the
some
only
Twitter
way that
dust,
existed
right.
is if the only way that exists is if you truly think that black is a gimmick. But if you see
they do.
but if you see it deeper than that, then Private Party to me represented from day one a very authentic culture that I saw all the time. Like when you see young people who just love the club, like that's those two, and I loved seeing that play out on TV.
It's like
because they
one
felt,
is at the club and one is at the cookout. Street Profits are at home. They have wives and kids. They're not at the club. How do you compare them? Private Party is at the club drinking tequila. That's how you break it down.
It's the football team and like the influencers.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
That's really
yes.
what that's what it looked like.
The football
to me,
team
like,
and influence, like two
Yeah.
different.
Right.
They're
like
totally
they
different
could exist
things.
in the same company
Yes,
and be two
definitely.
totally different teams.
Exactly.
I know
It would only
if
be somebody
WWE
who would look at them and say, "Oh, y'all are like brothers, right?" Like it's just
Right.
like New Day and Street Profits. They're two
Exactly.
totally different
Mhm.
dudes,
Totally
two
different.
totally different teams, and they coexist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. Like, if WWE had signed Private Party, I would not have seen them like the Street Profits. Like, the only thing that they had alike was drinking. And it's
Yeah.
like, but even still, do you know what variety there is in alcohol? Like, it is not the same. Like it wasn't the same to me. I didn't think they
And
were
it's
similar
definitely
at all.
Minute Maid fruit punch inside the Street Profits cup. They're not drinking any alcohol, man. Have you seen Montez? And they have wives and
not-
kids,
he's not
man. They're not
drinking.
drinking out here.
Yeah, nah.
But like, but I always felt like that was super authentic. I always felt like if you've ever been around just like club dudes like that who just love the fucking club like that is Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. That especially Isaiah Cassidy.
Isaiah be rocking 2 watches, man. He knows what's
watches.
going on. out
Two
here.
watches a yeah. I think look and honestly, they're so authentic. If you've ever seen Isaiah Cassidy is a fool. Like if you ever seen him on his Instagram live, there was one time he was doing an Instagram live and some dude comes up in this in the chat and is like, "Hey, I got the sneaker hookup," and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring this dude in right now," and he like brings him on. And dude is like actually working at his he's like at his job like at like Foot Locker, and he's like, "Hey, so what you got right now?" And like just watching Isaiah be like, he's straight up on Instagram live. He picked a random ass fan to talk to him on IG live, let him tap in, show off his shoes, and he's like, "Hey, hit me up privately. We're gonna do this." And like I said, that's who I see on TV. He is genuinely who I see, and I love that about Isaiah Cassidy. Shout out to.
I don't know if that's his most recent entrance where he comes in and the guy lets him through the rope and he dances a little bit and then he comes back with the money and puts it in his pocket and keeps walking.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
Isaiah's the best,
That's
man.
all
Like,
I
he's
love
dope.
Isaiah. He is so dope. Hey, we got to read some super chats though. It's been a while.
Sure.
Been a long while, so we got a lot of them. So let's talk about Van Twinblade saying, "Wait, do we all get to slander Will or only Reg?"
No, it's we. It's like when your brother gets to slander your
It's-
brother,
it's
but if
just the
somebody
three
else
of us.
slander your
Don't
brother, then you
watch
get to
your
find.
mouth.
No, it does not work like that.
Don't open that floodgate. Oh,
Yeah.
man, you got to shut the live down.
Myron said, "Y'all now to leave that Nikita chick alone." She
Myron.
been getting a lot of brothers on Twitter caught up.
Myron,
Who's Nikita? I don't know what you're talking about.
Y'all be safe
Myron.
out there. Y'all be safe out there.
I know Black History Month is over, but it ain't over.
Nah, man, it ain't over, man. I don't know who Nikita is. I don't know what you're talking about. Who's that?
Brent said, "Did they record the show at all?" I know some of it's been recorded. The
Yeah,
concert.
there was the AEW photographer was taking pictures. There was some
Yeah.
things going on.
There were some things. I don't know where it's all going to end up.
Yeah.
And shout out to Rich, who did he was filming a Road to documentary. He put it up on his YouTube channel. So there's a lot of video stuff that's up there now of us at the rehearsal and everything like
Ruckus
that.
posted a bunch of like fan pictures or videos on his Twitter account. Like there's some stuff you can see.
Yeah,
a
there's
bunch
some
of it.
stuff. Yeah. C. Romero says, "Happy birthday, Reg. Making CM Punk shed thug tears. You couldn't ask for a better present. Revolution was a crazy pay-per-view. Match of the night was Punk versus MJF.
Yep. Sometimes emotions play a big role for people in their wrestling matches, and that was all emotions.
RH says, what do you cats think happens to Scorpio Sky? Does he drop the belt to Wardlow, or does Tony keep him as TNT champion? Also, happy birthday, Reg.
Yeah, we're kind of going with this. He's going to have this belt going into the Forum at LA because it's LA. Come on, yeah.
Hey, I think, honestly, I would give him, in the same way you did for Miro, I would give him a gold strap and turn the champion banner purple.
He's getting a Lakers belt. It's probably working on it right now.
I would do the Laker belt, especially to introduce at the Forum. And Brent also says, love Wardlow, but that title felt like Sky's for a long time. Hope he keeps it for some time. Like I said, I think Wardlow's going to lose next week. Yeah. Some kind of costing from MJF.
MJF or Sean Spears, one of these guys. Something's going to happen.
Yeah. When Cody shows up on Monday, that means we all get to call him an AEW guy, right?
Yeah, I'm making an exception here. I'm definitely going to call Cody an AEW guy because that's funny.
He's a founder. He's a founder.
Definitely.
So yeah,
definitely.
If he shows up Monday, I don't know what he's going to do.
That's going to be what? No, that's.
I said on Twitter, and I got some shit for it on Twitter. I just want to clarify what I meant.
Twitter, really?
But I had said that I felt like some of the buzz was off on the Cody thing, and what I really meant by that was the fact that because I absolutely
it works out for him, I think, because
Cody shows up on Raw. That's still a big deal. But I think when you go off of Wade Keller's story about the Vince chomping at the bit at the possibility of taking one of AEW's EVPs. I think the buzz around that is what's gone. I think the buzz around the fact that a high-up person at AEW is now out of the fold is gone, mainly because AEW has kept on trucking. Now, I said in the short term.
Bounced back with that
because I said the short term because long term, a lot of those guys are still tied to Cody. A lot of them. Ricky Starks is one of his closest friends. Yeah. Preston Vance, one of his closest friends. He runs the Nightmare Factory still. There's a lot of things that are still hand in hand with Cody. And so who knows what that's going to mean in the long term. But at least in the short term, the show has continued to keep functioning. And I think as far as, had Cody shown up immediately, it would have been like one of the founding pieces, one of the biggest pieces of AEW is over here. And like, what is AEW going to do? Because he's on Raw now. But now that AEW has already kind of shown that actually they're kind of fine right now, they've moved on. I think that impact to AEW isn't as much as
you say,
as much as it would have been had Cody debuted sooner. But I know that what I heard was that Cody wasn't going to do anything till the Go Big Show was over, which just ended on Thursday, and so.
It's still going to be a big deal. I think it's going to work out for him that people forgot because they're going to be like, "Oh shit, there's Cody again." So.
Well, the thing is, Go Big Show's been on. He's actively been on TV every week since. Yeah, right. That show comes, especially because they play the replays after Dynamite, and it'd be like Dynamite's on, and then I see Cody, and so that, as a matter of fact, how weird would that have been if he had shown up while Go Big Show was still on, and it's weird. Dynamite actively promoting the Go Big Show.
I could see him having a thing with Tony to be like, "Could you not before the show is over?"
There's a lot of business ties between all of that going on. That I could definitely see that. But even your long term projection, if I'm Kenny Omega, I'm kind of looking at that and I'm like, what is this EVP thing really? What is it really worth? Like when my time comes up. What is going to be the value of me staying going if I'm trying to get a bigger deal if I'm doing that? Granted, I think he might be in a way better position than Cody was because this felt like heavy Roman Empire vibes, right? where you don't know where the knife is coming back from, and the people who you are around all of a sudden when they feel like it's your time. But yeah, I think Tony clearly showed it's my company, guys. But it's my company. So I think long term and even because eventually you're gonna see that wave of people in AEW go and I do think going forward wrestling is gonna look more like NBA free agency than what it has been. Short-term deals, lined up with a bunch of people. You get out of your contracts and you shake up the world.
I want to see more short-term deals. I don't want to see people signing 5-year deals. I don't want to. I don't want to see none of that. No, I want to see people signing short-term deals and
let's go with this year and see what happens after that. Like 5 years is crazy.
And whatever works for them too. Like that's what we want to see. But like I get the job.
Yeah, no, I want some 5 years and hella money too. You know.
But like I like the 2 year. Like that's one thing I will say that Tony Khan and from the NFL way is introducing kind of like, with his pops and the Jaguars injecting that sports aspect where we got options on your deal that we may pick it up. You're not as much of a contractor as it has been before, right? It's like I might sign a deal where it's like 2 years with the team option, with a federation or AEW option, or I might have the player option, where I could pick it up if I want to. And if you don't want me to pick it up, you got to release me. Right? That's when it gets real interesting. So I would love to see and I think for the wrestlers too, because I think in this era, it pays to be a fan of the wrestler versus a fan of the company. Right? I think that's what it is. Like player fans, at least in wrestling, is what I won't shade. Other sports, we could have that debate, but in wrestling, I do think you can love the companies too, but you should love the wrestlers because they can go anywhere. Exactly. They can go anywhere and do their thing. So when you support them, you're getting the most out of it.
I'm with that and then in some ways I'm not, because on one end I'm like, okay, I've always been like Phil. I'm a support wrestlers kind of guy because I, at the end of the day, love this for the wrestlers, and that's what I want, is to see wrestlers succeed. On the other end, I'm also like Reg, where there is a certain type of show I like to watch. There's a certain type of wrestling I like, and in that sense, if my favorite wrestlers are doing something on a show that isn't for me, I'm the type of, but that goes with sports, right? It's the same way. Where like, I may like these players, but I don't necessarily like who's coaching them, and therefore, and I don't like the way that this coach is using them, and so I want to see them in an environment where
they don't like the Lakers, so they don't like that their favorite team's on the Lakers. They're just not going to cheer for the Lakers.
I love Westbrook. I hate what y'all doing to him over there. Knock it off, man. Y'all got him.
I don't know what Westbrook. I don't know if this is like. Because there's like, they show these little other videos where he's training and he's killing. I'm like, is this a game? Like, I don't know what's going on here.
I won't get into why.
Leave Brody alone, man. Y'all gotta leave that man. He's having stuff like, it's a tough seat. Like, it's tough. All right, man.
It's tough. And like the game is like, they don't factor in that like, the NBA is cold. There's a bunch of like superstar players. These ain't a bunch of chumps out here. Like,
No,
that's a fact. But I definitely agree with you there, Will. Like I see stuff. Watching all of these different companies, there's definitely facets of them that I'm just like. But I like the wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan my entire life, so I'm gonna watch everything and find what I like in it and make the time for what I want to watch. I can go on a New Japan rant with you for like 14 hours if you wanted over some of the stuff that they've done over there. That I'm like what's going on? I'm a Naito fan, so you already. I'm a Naito fan, so you already know. I feel like he is like the redhead stepchild of that company. But yeah, like I definitely agree with you with that. Like, find your enjoyment where you find it, and that's the biggest thing.
And that's what I encourage people to do more than anything else is, again, I've been now almost 2 years into this whole not for me thing, but I'm really trying to tell people that, like, find what's for you. I recognize that social media creates a need to be tribalistic about things, but, like, you don't have to watch shit you don't like, and just like don't you don't have. There's so much wrestling variety out there that, like, if you don't like the way Tony Khan presents pro wrestling, don't watch his shit.
Right.
If you don't like the way Vince McMahon presents pro wrestling, don't watch his shit. I feel like every aspect of pro wrestling right now is probably being covered to the point of where there's something for you. Now, if
there
you're
ain't, you just don't like pro wrestling.
yeah, and if you're a completionist, if you're just somebody who's got to watch everything, then cool, be that guy. There's
if you're
that
one of
too.
those old weirdos, you can watch NWA Power or whatever the fuck it comes on. It's for you if you don't. If you think wrestling should be like it was in the '70s, it's there for you.
NWA Power came
wrestling?
in hot though. Like
Man.
it was good that first year, and then like I don't, it kind of fell off a cliff. With me.
I don't want to
I
watch
mean,
2008 WWE guys as the world.
The pandemic,
champion.
the pandemic was what pretty much
Yeah,
killed
you're right.
NWA as far as
No,
a
it
brand
wasn't the
was concerned.
pandemic. They were gonna die regardless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo.
Let's get back to these super
Alright.
chats.
Yeah, super chats. Carlos says,
It's gonna die
"What do you
anyway.
think of people say?" Oh yeah, we read that already. And Jay Blood says, "I want Swerve
up,
against
Jay
a 100%
Yeah,
Kenny
we're
Omega."
definitely gonna cry watching that match for sure.
But here's the thing: I have been mentally fantasy booking that match for like 10 years. but like at least the last like 3 months, for the last 90 days, I had been mentally fantasy booking. All right, how do we get to Kenny Omega versus Swerve? I have my ideas on how I'd do it, and Tony, you know how to reach me if you want to hear it. But
Tony, you know how to reach me is wild.
but like I have my ideas on how to get to Swerve versus Kenny Omega.
Tony, you know how to reach me. I'm dead, bro.
And you could do it by Full Gear.
Oh, he's in your DMs immediately, bro.
I like
right over this game point.
Well, that's what I like I said, I have ideas on how I get there, and you could do it without deviating from Kenny versus the Elite or any of that. There are ways to do it and make it high profile. I have it.
Yes,
You can have it. Been fantasy booking this for a while. Anyway, Reggie says, "Yo, you got Jeff
Another
on
Reggie.
the rocking with dude since the days of Fan Bros."
Salute, Reggie. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
that's love.
Ty says, "As T-Mobile is the place for the big fights and Double or Nothing is going to be there, do you guys have a match card in mind?"
It's gonna be hot, not like cool hot, like hot, like outside you're gonna melt. Drink a lot of water. That's what I read.
Yeah.
Match card in mind. I don't know yet. I kind of feel like
Is this MJF's moment? I think at
I
Double or
kind of
Nothing.
feel like they're gonna run Punk versus Page at that pay-per-view.
You think so? Yeah,
In the big arena,
yeah, I could see it. I could see Punk.
gotta sell it, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Punk's gonna get his title
You're
match
right.
at that,
Yeah,
at
I could
that
agree.
show.
I could agree.
Now I think he's gonna lose, but I do
Yeah.
think
Right.
he's gonna get a title match though.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know, because a lot's going to change, because I have a feeling they're doing Page versus Cole 2 at Battle of the Belts 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in that sense, yeah, I have some things in mind, but like,
Double or Nothing's the end of May, right? Like it's some time. They got some time. to
there's
set this
time.
up.
There is a lot of time. We're talking almost 3 months.
Ooh, it could
TV
be
to
any.
complete.
It could be anybody by then. There's so many guys. It could be anything at this point. It could be Moxley could be back in. Like you never know. Like it could be crazy stuff by then.
Getting about him.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
you know. Yeah.
Jay Blood says, "I think they're already presenting Swerve as a big deal. The way they presented his signing, main event in his match, calling him a mogul, which is so funny because of conversations we had."
Oh my god, yeah. Like hearing everything and then seeing it all presented full circle is like, this is
Yeah.
kind of spooky.
He's been saying that spooky hours out here, bro.
Yeah. BL Dog says, "Typically, if they do a bunch of matches on AEW Dark, they are getting pushed. That's where they tend to start padding the win-loss records when they do a starter program, i.e. Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy."
Yep.
And yeah, it's almost as if you have to look at Dark the opposite way of the way some people look at it, where they're like, "Oh, this guy's on Dark. This means that they're being devalued." Where it's like, no, maybe start looking at it as, oh, they're on Dark. They want their wins and losses. They're starting to pad them to get them where they're trying to get them. That's a good way to look at it. I hadn't thought about that. David says, "Love the show. Will Deanna finally get to wrestle Britt Baker at Super Card of Honor?" Well, so that's a good question because I had always said my concern about Deonna versus Britt was the title being in play. That if Britt's champion and Deonna's a champion, who loses? Whereas if Britt's not champion, you can do what the fuck you want.
Yep.
And so, I think you could get there a lot sooner with Britt possibly losing the title this week.
Yeah, that's by Mania week though. You think they're gonna have that match?
That's pretty soon. That's super soon.
If she loses this week,
they can set it up.
If she loses this Wednesday, the 16th, there's time actually.
Yeah.
So
it's not like there's any TV. They need to announce a lot more for that Ring of Honor show to get people in there. So
I just wonder though. I have to assume it's going to be somebody that was in that Ring of Honor women's division, because Britt's not in that division. She's an Impact wrestler. So to have an Impact and AEW wrestler wrestle on that card sounds kind of weird, and that's Ring of Honor's first show back of the year.
What's a Ring of Honor wrestler anymore, though?
And it's WrestleMania weekend, so everything is kind of that.
Yeah, this is true. But I just assumed they're going to go with somebody that was at Ring of Honor.
Tremaine says, Sean says that having so many people, you get to let people have a break and heal up, i.e. Kenny, and not use any star power. Yes. I agree. Do you guys?
I agree.
Yeah.
It could be like a off-season type, yeah. Definitely. We don't need to see every wrestler every time. Just exactly like you said right now. Kenny Omega, he's building. People are fiending for him already, even though he still needs a lot of time to get repaired.
Yeah, WCW used to do that a lot with we used to call it the WCW vacations, because when the summer came, you ain't see it was no Hogan, it was no Nash, it was
they're like, I'm about to be on the Maldives, beach, bro. Straight up.
Shout out Monique. Do you think AEW needs another hour of live TV to fit all their talent? Maybe an hour on a different night, or do you think they will utilize some of their talent on the new ROH? I think we are going to see talent kind of cycle in and out of new ROH. And then as far as another hour, no. I think
please
honestly
don't make
where they're
Rampage
at.
2 hours. Please don't.
No.
Yeah, no. I don't. Because I don't think Rampage is in a position to be filmed live full time.
Yes.
I think that full schedule with 2 shows would be disastrous.
Yeah, you can't do 2 hours after Dynamite. It won't work.
Right. You need the budget for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
You need the budget for touring.
Keep
What's
that
up?
in mind. I think whenever when this current deal expires with Warner Media, take a look at what that money's looking like and what they would want if they want more content and where it's gonna live.
Like they might hit full time if like the numbers are right at that point.
Right. Because right now they have the budget for essentially the 1 touring show, and then you take the 2 shows there. And that's how that works out for them. And on occasion, they're doing these live rampages, but not all the time. And I don't think it's in the cards right now. Brent says, think Sammy's first run was mired in all that was going on with Cody. Not entirely, no.
Not necessarily, but there's some things. Yeah.
I think it was more that was mired in some of the Jericho stuff. They were still doing the Inner Circle stuff. Right. I think once he got away from Jericho, I think you got more of what his character was.
Agreed.
So I'm glad Inner Circle is no more. He could just be his own man.
God, oh my God, that was the slowest breakup they've been. Jeez Louise, thank God it finally went through. Sad for my homie Dan Garcia, got to be with Chris Jericho, but things happen how they happen.
Shout out to Orion, says, yep, still waiting for some apologies to y'all. I saw the work Will and Reg put in to get back some of that vitriol. Sorry, Phil, that cardboard comment irks me.
Cardboard?
And yeah, I don't remember that. And he says, get well wishes to Big E, and thanks for the honesty, Grapsody.
Appreciate it.
Might have been something he saw on Twitter. I'm assuming the cardboard thing.
Yeah. A lot of things be happening.
Yeah,
people be coming for your man on Twitter. I don't. People gotta relax.
Jay Blood says, seriously, it is a big deal for Dante to get that match, kick out that much, and then the beautiful of the cowboy archetype hero insisting on giving that kid his flowers was beautiful.
That was awesome.
Man, yeah, that was great. I love that he put over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that he put him over, man. I thought he made Dante look like $1 million, and I really believe he's gonna follow in Hangman and Jungle Boy's footsteps as guys that challenged for the world title and lost, but ended up winning the tag titles.
Definitely.
Well, and I think, man, that reminds me though. So I told the story on Twitter. This was great. But that kid we met in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we went to the Performance Center.
Yeah, we went to the Performance Center actually, and that's where we met this kid. It was literally like me and Reg got breakfast, and then I was like, "Where is Full Sail in relation to here?" And I look up, and we're like across the street from where we were getting breakfast, and they were like, "So that means the Performance Center is probably even closer by." And so we drove to the Performance Center, and there was other people going who were in town for AEW that were like, "Let's take some pictures of the Performance Center." But we met this kid and his dad, and the kid was in a CM Punk shirt, but it was a shirt from like 2012, and it was his dad's shirt. The kid said he had never seen. It was like the kid could have been more than 14, 15. He had never seen CM Punk before last August. But he said that's what made him a wrestling fan. He wasn't into wrestling until the first dance, which that was crazy to me.
That sounds insane.
And so I have to ask people things. So I'm like, so who's your favorite wrestler? And he shows me the background of his phone, and he's got a picture of Dante Martin as his wallpaper. And he's like, Dante Martin's my favorite. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I asked him, I said, so what'd you think of Darius's return last week? And he said, I didn't even know there was Darius. So
that
was
is
like,
crazy.
And
like,
I thought about
know
that.
Like, he had a brother that also is a wrestler.
I thought about that, and I'm like, yeah, if you started watching last August,
yep. Darius is gone.
You've seen a lot of Dante, and
Yeah.
I can see if you're a kid, I could absolutely see Dante being a kid's favorite right now.
Easy.
And
So
like,
easy.
especially if you're a teenager, Dante's
so easy.
just
He
a
was
few
my.
years
If
older
I was
than
a
you.
teenager, he was definitely going to be mine. Because look what he does, man. He's insane.
Yeah. And so Dante was this kid's favorite, and on top of that, he didn't even know there was a Darius, because why would he? Since August, Darius ain't been around. It's just been Dante Martin. But this kid had Dante Martin as his wallpaper. That's how much he loved Dante Martin.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, that made me so happy. I felt that because I remember when Jeff Hardy was kid's favorite, and I saw the parallels right there. I was like,
And now we get to see it in person. Those little kids, Darby Allin with the Darby. What's his name? That's his name. With his wide eyes seeing Jeff Hardy, like you get to see it in real time. It's hilarious.
I never seen black people go up for somebody like they go up for Jeff Hardy, boy. Like, that man is
we need
loved
to
in the
do
community.
like, yo, we need
you
to
know what's
get
crazy?
one of these stories on this whole thing because it blows my mind.
Yo, you ask people, there's no definite why. It's just it's Jeff Hardy,
It's
bro.
Jeff
Like
Hardy.
it's just, that's what it is. He's a vibe. He was a vibe before a vibe was a thing, bro.
Like
And
thugs be like, yeah, I
Yo.
fucks with Jeff Hardy, and I'd be like, yo, it's Jeff
you
Hardy
can
is
take like
universal.
that Michael
man. It's
Jackson
crazy.
picture when he was with the Crips.
Yeah,
look, we gotta talk about this though, because Jeff Hardy is back. They got the loaded music, and yeah,
Jeff Hardy came, got his shit in before he saved his brother.
Yo,
He's
if
like,
I'm ever
no.
getting-
I know, that was the
Y'all
funniest
want
shit to me.
Come help me. We got problems.
Yeah,
No, for
well,
real. Bro. What was you doing?
He
bro?
he
Yeah.
did it down. He did it down the ramp. He makes his way down. He's like,
Felt the spirit.
all right, now we're
I'm about to
gonna
get my shit in before I hit the ring. Don't you worry.
Nah, he that was quite a return. Mainly because one, they did license the loaded music, and that was one of those no-brainer kind of things. Like,
You know what? I actually kind of had. I think if you know Jeff Hardy, like you know that he doesn't want that song. Like as much as we want that song so bad, he does not want that song.
He gave a
at
specific caveat to that, though. He said he only wants that song when working with Matt. And
Gotcha.
so
If it's
he
Hardy
said,
Boys.
yeah, he said that is the Hardy Boys theme. And so as far as he's concerned, because that was what he was saying when he was complaining about it in WWE, when he said he wanted No More Words back, he was like, No More Words is my song. Loaded is the Hardy Boys song.
Right.
So if I am to use Loaded, it has to be with Matt.
With the Hardy Boys.
So yeah, so in this case, it was a Matt Hardy thing. He's coming out to help Matt. The music hit, makes sense. the Tron even said Hardy Boys on it, which like was kind of weird in context because you look at that like, well, how would he know at that time that the Hardy Boys are going to get back together?
How you
would
know
you
Matt
know?
want to team up with you again?
You gotta be ready as the graphics person.
For
You just
real.
load up everybody. And if you see
Man, for
somebody, you just put it
real.
up.
The graphic dude
like-
just had his laptop like, damn, Jeff Hardy's here.
Yeah, like that's the Tron did not say Jeff Hardy. The Tron said Hardy Boy, and I just said Hardy's, and I had that thought of like, but how did he know that it was going to be a Hardy's
Jeff gets to
reason?
him
But
with the MP3 play. He came with the
Yeah, for
USB
real.
like,
Hey,
yo,
plug this
I'm gonna
in.
airdrop you this. Play it right
I
now.
got you.
But if Jeff goes solo, I could see him trying to use one of his other themes, one of the
Yeah.
like Impact ones. But as far as the Hardys is concerned, he said straight up that is the
it.
Hardys theme, and if we're together, that's our theme song.
It hit,
So I
man.
appreciate that.
The crowd
That's a
loved
cool
it.
thing.
That was
And
perfect.
the crowd, that pop is like that's a top 5 AEW pop. That is.
Man, don't
I
fuck around about Jeff Hardy, man. He did something. I know what he did. Like when he touched us with those ladder matches, man. I'm still like that for Jeff Hardy, and it's just been like that forever. It's just like, man, that's our guy. He's the guy. Anytime he
Yeah.
shows up, we love him.
Yeah. And he's one of those guys that the internet, I think, is going to have because there was a very love-hate relationship with Jeff Hardy in his like prime, where
really.
I remember there was a lot of people on the internet who just didn't like Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
But I've always said that.
I remember that.
wrestling-
I mean, and then he had like a troubled, he had a lot of trouble
Yeah.
issues, and people kind of bring that along with wrestlers. So
I've always said that history is always the kindest to wrestling's most polarizing figures. Where like it blows people's minds these days when you talk about John Cena and you're like, hey, that's the guy people hated.
Yes.
That is not a guy people loved, but today,
No.
like, he's one of the most beloved people you could talk about. And my gut tells me that, like, when it's all said and done, it's gonna sound weird to even talk about the Bucks as people as two guys that people hated because I think people hated Edge. People did not like Edge at all.
Yep.
People, and it's
I was
like,
one of those people.
but I think history eventually vindicates the wrestling's most polarizing figures because if you were the type of person that got people talking, and as
Dude,
long as you weren't,
I saw Shawn Michaels slander on message boards when he was doing his thing. Like there's Shawn Michaels slander. Like
People still hate
no
Shawn.
no one cannot get slandered. Bret Hart, I've seen every greatest of all time. I've seen them slandered online. It doesn't
yeah,
get
and
what I mean?
through their
Like,
prime too.
Yeah,
like,
through their prime.
I think as
so.
long as you don't go out like Hogan, I
Right.
think you will. I think history
Gotta really
will
jump
be,
out the window to for them to,
Yeah. By
I
the
was
way,
so
saw
man.
that he
I
won't
was
be able to
fucking
wrestle
cool.
again, huh?
No, sorry about that, Hogan. Damn, unfortunate. Fucking dick.
Yeah. So let's see. Keeping up with another one. Orion again says happy birthday to Reg and saw the latest rap on my way to work today. Rapper, interviewer, commentary.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Always
That's
great
hard.
to see the brothers putting in the
Regular
work. and
is out
getting
right
rewarded.
now. righteousreg.bandcamp.com. It's bars. It's all kind of shit on there. Go get that.
Yeah.
Go get that.
Derek Orton says, for the people complaining about padded records, Britt announced that she was going to Dark to pick up Wednesday challenge sheet as Dark matches count. That was literally what Britt did. She was like, remember she like dissed on it. She's like, oh, I'll play your little game, Tony Khan, your little wins and losses game. And then she went and beat, what's her name? It's funny that we're talking about Scorpio Sky because I was thinking of his girlfriend. The hell?
Her name.
Alex Gracia.
Yes,
there you go.
Garcia.
Alex Gracia. Yeah.
Garcia.
Gracia. It's
Gracia.
Gracia.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Gracias.
But anyway, yeah, she
Jeff's like, here y'all go again, fucking the names
like,
up.
you're pronouncing it into like it's just it's hilarious. English language is hilarious, man.
It
It's so
is.
fascinating.
It is.
but yeah, and I forget that she is she's dating Scorpio.
I think
Since you just putting everybody's business out into the street today on this episode.
No, that's
there
a
it
known
is.
thing.
That's a known thing.
she's
That's what
like
they
had him
say,
all on
okay.
her Instagram. Like they're
All
down
right,
here.
Tay
Yeah,
and
that-
Sammy Guevara over here. I see y'all.
I mean, they definitely ain't Ty and Sammy in terms of just
I
like,
feel
hey,
sad
we
for-
was fucking
I
this
feel sad for
afternoon. What's
Pam,
up?
man? That feels. Watching Sammy's vlog. I'm like, damn, what happened to Pam? I know she does not watch the show. She'd be throwing up.
Hey, man. Hey.
Ferthausen says
it's the game, bro. Have you seen Ty? She is.
Ferthausen says 8 times out of 10, the wrestler who sets the table crashes through the table. That's true.
This is also true.
Kate, shout out to Kate, said Punk did not squeeze Reg's hand because he wasn't okay. He was in his feelings after that question.
That's
funny. I don't think I put this over.
That's how funny.
That Punk entrance was amazing, and I was really sitting at home like, as somebody that came across him from WWE, but also went back and watched a lot of his Ring of Honor stuff. I was sitting there getting emotional. I'm like, because I sometimes still can't believe that he's back and he's actually happy wrestling. Mm-hmm. And so, like, him coming out and doing the entrance, and then when he could hear other people singing it and him looking around smiling like, yo, you guys really want me to be here. Man, come on, man. Like, it's just,
there's a person behind me talking about, as we all form one dark flame. I'm like, okay.
I knew somebody was going to be crying if I was put that question out there. So,
but the funny thing was, I didn't feel like it was that hard to get because even in the arena, there was somebody in my area who was just like, oh, what's going on? And I literally just said, oh, it's his Ring of Honor theme. I said that like 2 seconds in, and he goes, oh, okay. Yeah. And I thought, okay, if commentary could do that for everybody was going to get that.
I mean, it was kind of obvious that this was like a throwback, right? Because even when I heard it, because I didn't watch Punk in Ring of Honor like that, right? Like my first time seeing him was in WWE. But when I heard it, immediately, like my producer mind, I was like, is this an old theme from
That's
Ring of
something.
Honor? Like that's what I said. Yeah. And then Excalibur laid it out.
He explained it.
And I was like, okay, I feel it's not gonna hit me emotionally the way it might hit Phil because you went back and you invested in it. So it's not gonna hit me, but the moment hits you. Because you like, oh, he's going back. He's tapping into it into a former version of himself to inflict maximum violence on MJF, right? Like I get that. Like, so I'm a big moment guy. I'm a big mood guy. So he set the tone. So I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like even MJF before that coming out to his music, right? That was the alley-oop.
Set the tone. Yeah,
that was the setup. Because he was like, oh, you're using that. You're using me at my peak. I'm going to the gutter, and I'm gonna lay it on you. You know what I mean? So like I got it without knowing.
Right.
So
man, two things though. So I noticed right away when MJF came out and did his music and then he cut to his own music. That's what fans wanted when Punk debuted. They wanted MJF to do that.
Exactly.
And also, there were a lot of fans that wanted Punk to come out to his ROH music. So they gave us both.
Both of them.
But that was also the story of this match or their feud. Like MJF saying like you're not old Punk anymore, and he came back as old Punk.
Yep.
Yeah, all of this was the story. And you know what's cool? Punk, by the way, is he's going into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. So like this is the perfect year to do all of this.
Tying together.
Synergy.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Brent says Super Dragon at the Forum.
Oh, Super Danny's 1,000% going to be at the Forum. PWG is going to be out loud. It's a giant PWG. We're going to pay tribute to PWG.
Dude, this is PWG selling out the Forum.
That's exactly 1 million %. PWG has sold out the Forum. Shout out to PWG. I'm always PWG young boy.
Shout out Shanika. I did see Shanika at the concert. Thank you for coming through. She said, better late than ever. Yeah. She said, just showing some love to the crew and saying happy birthday, Reg. Shout out to us old folks. Yeah, she was there. I'm surprised you didn't get to see her. But yeah, she came over. She said hi. I was sitting with Sean Rossap when she came over. Oh, okay. And she just said hi to both of us. Tremaine says, Jeff mentioned him. Who's the modern day Nash?
The modern day Kevin Nash? Nobody, bro. I don't think.
I'm like,
I can't, because he was just from.
Nobody did it like Kev, man.
You know who it is? I'm honestly gonna say modern day Kev in terms of somebody who knows his value and works to his value. Brock.
I was gonna say Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
With the personality now that we see,
he came in being like, "This is all about the money. I don't care about any of that shit. Just I'm gonna get in and do my job and get paid." Yeah, I like Brock.
Yeah, that's a good. But even though I think Brock is like 101, because I think where Kev was more like cool about it and business about it, Brock is just like, "Yo, I'm signing the check. I'm gonna turn up and I'm gonna make it the best thing you ever saw. Yeah, and I'm out and I'm going back to my farm until the next time you need me."
Yeah,
like Kev is more. Kev was more cool with it.
Yeah.
Brock is more authentic with it. Like
Yeah.
they're both real,
that.
but the authenticity of like, yo, no, this is who he is.
Mhm.
But the closest right now in this era. New guys, I don't know. Like
Yeah,
in
I don't
this
know about new
era,
guys, but-
I'd say Brock. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In ring though, this is gonna sound like a wild take, but I would kind of say Luchasaurus because Luchasaurus is a guy that he's big, he does the pump kicks, and I say modern day because he also can do all the cruiserweight stuff that a lot of big guys do now. Like I feel like now if Nash was more athletic and he wrestled today, he would kind of wrestle like Luchasaurus does.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Luchasaurus is one of those guys that like. There's a big sect of the internet that just don't like him. But
It's
man,
weird.
live crowds just love that guy.
Yeah, they do.
I have yet to be in a crowd that
He's over
has,
huge
I
on
have-
the live crowds.
I have been to 8 AEW shows. I have yet to see a single crowd not get behind Luchasaurus.
They love
He'll be
him.
on the ring apron, and they're like, Luchasaurus, just ready for him to tag
he's
in.
over. It's the same thing
Another
with Orange
Cali
Cassidy.
boy. Yep, straight up, man. The forum is gonna be huge for so many AEW wrestlers. I mean, to keep it real, AEW is a California promotion, so it's a
Yeah.
homecoming.
It's Shot Kid 29 says bit behind, but going back to Swerve's potential push. I think ROH will help alleviate congestion, so young guys like Top Flight can shine and grow there to open it up, to open up space for talent like Swerve.
Yes, agreed.
And hey, got some Humper chats as well. Let's see, we got a Anwar says, great opening. Happy birthday, Reg. Props to Will on his team, finally getting another franchise QB. You know what's funny is it happened on almost the 10-year anniversary of us getting Peyton Manning, and all of a sudden now we got we got Russell Wilson, and like, I don't know, are there parallels here? Maybe.
Russ about to get that ring and retire too.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem I have with Denver quarterbacks getting Super Bowls is that if that were to happen, and I'm not saying it will, because there's a lot of other pieces missing. We don't got a Von Miller like we did back then.
You might get him. You might get him. He teasing it.
Yeah,
Teasing it. You never know. You never know. You
Yeah,
got 4
so-
years with Ciara in Denver, bro. Like, although after that, although she don't want to be there. Denver's lit. Let me not shit on Denver. Denver is a dope city though.
Yeah,
Denver's a dope city.
It's my city. But I will say that as far as franchise quarterbacks are concerned, it has been crazy how like Denver Broncos, yeah, we got 3 Super Bowls, but our Super Bowls have been John Elway wins the Super Bowl, rides off into the sunset, and then we spent 12 years trying to find another quarterback. We get Peyton Manning, he wins the Super Bowl, rides off into the sunset, and then we're now spend all these, like, it's always like hit the top and then they're gone, and Broncos got to start right over. It's never like, hey, we got a top tier quarterback who, and like we had Elway obviously the majority of his career, but it was like it's never a case of having it for time, you know.
Right.
And so Russell Wilson would be another one of those cases where if he got us back to Super Bowl contention, it ain't gonna last long.
Nope.
He's at the tail end of his career, so
As long as you get the ring, that's all that. That's
Hey,
all
man.
that.
Yeah,
Listen,
get that
I'm,
ring,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm a
Take
Giants
that
fan.
ring.
I'm still living off of 07 and 11. You can't take
Exactly.
that away from me. I'm
Man.
still riding on that.
This
you know what
this
I mean?
city still lives on a championship that we
From
won when I
85?
wasn't when I was just born. So I have yet to see this team win a
Facts.
championship as a fan.
Facts.
And man, as far as quarterbacks here, like you've had a wealth of great quarterbacks. Name 5 good Bears quarterbacks. And you have a hard time.
Jeff really started thinking about it too.
No, because you know
like-
why? Because the Giants are trying to sign Trubisky to. I'm
Good
like,
luck
yo,
with
why
that.
do y'all do
Good
this
luck.
to me? What's happening? What,
Good luck, man.
Real
Trubisky
quick,
is-
Phil. You know who I just thought of with the Nash question? Damian Priest.
that is a good one. That's true.
That's a
The Luchasaurus
really
sparked that.
good
Like,
one.
I think him and Lucha,
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
are good ones.
That's
too.
good, Damian Priest.
That was a great
yes.
question. Whoever sent in
Yes.
the big money for that.
That's fine.
Let's see. We got another one that says, and he also said Phil nailed it on the Scorpio Sky prediction. Well wishes on Big E's recovery. Jennifer, thank you, Jennifer. Always love Jennifer. Jennifer said, just throwing love because I can't catch all live this week and missed last week too, but keep being amazing voices, gents. Thank you so much. And,
Appreciate you, Jennifer.
And Van Twinblade said, Glory Pro for next Saturday. And I love Van Twinblade always giving us the Indy cars. This is always great.
That's my guy.
Yeah. Said Max the Impeller versus 2D Lin. Technical difficulties versus the hustle and the muscle.
Yes.
Yo,
Love technical difficulties.
are
Yeah.
dope.
That's a fire name.
Yeah.
Davey Richards versus Myron Reed.
Oh my godness, yes! Shout out to Myron Reed, my God, that's gonna be fire. Davey Richards has been on super fire in these independent wrestling matches.
And then a shout out, RIP to Mike Outlaw's mom.
Yeah, rest in
Damn,
peace.
shout out Mike Outlaw and his mom, man.
We got a couple more. Tremaine said Jeff know about Jagged Edge, he'll always be down. We got Monique.
Oh man.
Says Street saying we might get Jade versus
Ooh,
Athena.
the streets are
I saw that
talking.
tease.
Streets
I saw it.
are watching. It's
saw
going.
that tease. I saw it.
Ooh, they teasing. They online going back and forth too.
Yeah. And then
let's get hot.
Shot Kid says, keeping my fingers crossed, ROH gets an OG Network NXT style show on HBO Max.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this. I don't. Yeah, there's a lot.
I would love to see it on a streaming platform. But again, that's the synergy. HBO Max now has winning time on it, and the form is there. Lakers colors.
Yep.
And not to be a corporate shill myself, but we did just over at Turner just signed rights to U.S. men's and women's soccer.
Oh,
so,
let's go.
And that's going to be
it's being introduced into the platform now. Like sports is going to slowly be introduced into HBO Max. So once again, when the contract is up and when you're negotiating, I can see, depending on how the success of what happens with Ring of Honor, even AEW, that's going to be an avenue going forward. You about to see everything on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got to get me an HBO Max subscription at this point. Damn.
Yeah, man. I've been trying to sell you on. I spent the weekend trying to sell on Euphoria. I spent the weekend trying to sell this man on Euphoria.
Watch Curb Your Enthusiasm without HBO Max. Wrong with you?
I haven't watched Curb in the last 2 seasons. I don't know.
Come on, man. That last season, you gotta watch that.
It's wrestling and the MTV's The Challenge. That's all I can watch. I don't have space for anything else. That's it.
That cross section of wrestling fans and challenge fans are huge, man.
I'm telling you, we out here. We
That's
gotta
the
have a
Wednesday
challenge
Night War
wrestling convention.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. Like when they expanded it to all different types of reality shows, that's when they took it to another level. Before it was real world road rules.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we gotta talk about this because I was on a flight on my way to LA. And
I didn't know what you guys are talking about. Y'all were putting in the group chat, Butch. Phil was like, Butch, and I'm like, what are these guys talking about right now? I'm confused.
You know that moment when you get off a flight and phone's been on airplane mode, and then you power it, you turn it off, and all of a sudden all your notifications start going off. I had like 10 notifications that all said the word Butch, and I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? What is Butch? Including from like wrestling people.
Yes.
And I'm like, what does this mean, Butch? I don't understand at all. And it took me a minute to actually see until one particular person who sent it to me also sent it with a video attached to it. And I watched the video, and that's where I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay. Look, not going to dunk on the name. I'm not going to dunk on... because I like Pink Dunn as a performer. This is not a trash WWE kind of thing, because I spent a lot of this show kind of bigging up AEW. So that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just going to say this. I don't know how one can push NXT on television. NXT, is it like a show that's like I get it, it's watched by... the smallest audience as far as the big TV is concerned, so it's not so much that there's a huge attachment to it, but it is still advertised on SmackDown. It's still advertised on Raw. You still bring in Braun Breaker to Raw. You still bring in Tommaso Ciampa to Raw. So it's always weird to me when you bring in things from a show that you clearly advertise and then act like it's like non-existent or not canon. Like, I don't know how you bring in Pete Dunne, who has been on NXT very recently, and
it doesn't matter. None of this matters anymore.
But
we
like,
don't have to spend time on this. Names don't matter. Gunther is here to exist now. Walter is out. It doesn't matter. They don't care about anything that you're saying right now. They don't care.
Yeah. Well, to your
NXT,
point, though,
they don't
Will,
care.
Like we're
care.
talking about two of the longest reigning NXT UK champions, and they're in the history books as different names.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Like that's the only thing I'm weirded out by is like this stuff happened. Like I can understand if like NXT was still like on the network and it or was even when it was on Hulu for that time period, and it's like, okay, it's not really like something that we fully address on television. But this is something that they like fully address on TV every week. You bring it up, you bring it on.
Raw as Pete Dunne. He debuted on Raw in 2017 as Pete Dunne.
Like that's the thing I'm like just weirded out by here. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have a problem with name changes as long as they're good. If you remember years ago, like this isn't a new thing. Like people would change names and try to find it. Like I saw somebody had made an example of like when Big Show got to WWF, he was like the Big Nasty. Yeah. Then it was like Paul White. They would try to figure it out, and then eventually you get to the Big Show, right? I don't really have a problem with those changes. I think that with 2.0, you're getting the last vestiges of Black and Gold that are transitioning out. Like I think one of the things that they want to do with I would say Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, because even Carmelo was was using Casanova until he switched to Carmelo, right? I think who was it on their team? Waller, D'Angelo, Breaker, and Hayes. They're like the demarcation line between the old and the new, where they're like, okay, these guys are like, these are going to be their names, and then when they come up, we'll have that complete synergy. And everyone else, like Ciampa and FKA Dunn, they're going to be they're the ones that have the leeway to say, okay, we're going to change it, or they're going to change it within 2.0. There, I don't know. I don't really feel the name. I think similar to Doudrop, you could have found something better. And you know what? If this is who the talent wanted as their name, make it work.
Yeah, I'll be Butch.
Make it work, bro. Make it work. But I'm not really as outraged. Like it kind of took me aback. But this type of stuff doesn't happen in this wrestling all the time. And there's a lot of way more outrageous names out there. But I can understand why it's jarring for someone who has had a name for a while and then they come up and they change it. I can understand that.
That's the issue I have with it is it's taking somebody who kind of has some establishment already, and but you're inconsistent with it is the problem. Like I said, on a show where you will bring one person up as Butch, but then on the same token, you're also using Braun Breaker on Raw. Like, where's the consistency?
Well,
here?
he started as Braun Breaker, right? In NXT, he started as Braun Breaker. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, you're right with the inconsistency. I just think that who is it? Ciampa and Dunn really are like probably the last ones before we even get to like EO and Dakota and all of them, right? Like they're kind of like the last ones of like the face of black and gold NXT, right? So I think going forward, I don't think you're gonna see that much of a name change, but I do agree with you that if you're building them here, like going forward, there should not be that much disruption with the names going forward. But I think those two are probably some of the last few that you may see that happen.
Yeah,
my gut tells me that this is one of those names like Bearcat Lee and whatnot that we'll probably be like seeing interviews in a year talking about, man, Butch. What the hell was Butch?
But yeah, I just want to clarify this because I think every time you see this and you'll see all these tweets and people are just like Butch with the question marks and people are like, oh, y'all over there crying over a name, it's outrage. Like I think people misunderstand what people are critiquing when they do that. Because look, Butch isn't a bad name, but it's just like, it's not that I have a problem with Butch as a name. It's that I know that his name is not Butch. It's Pete Dunne. Like, it's the fact that I watched this man in Chicago have one of the best matches I've ever seen live as Pete Dunne. And it's like, it isn't a matter of do I not like the name. It's a matter of why can't you just let him be who he is? And I think there's stock in indie wrestlers going other places and keeping their name and being who they are. And I get WWE wants to make everybody their character and brand it their way, but stop. You don't have to do that.
But I feel like there's backwards branding though, because I had this problem. I mentioned this back in 2017, where WWE in doing this actually hurts the marketability of certain guys, because right now if I Google the word Butch, he's nowhere close to the top result.
Nowhere. Nothing.
I Google Butch and it's okay. Right now it is because he's trending because of the name change.
Damn you,
but
technology.
But literally,
Google said you lied on the
Google
you
said
lied on
what?
the algorithm.
No, so here it is.
Google
No, this is
said
what I
me?
mean.
You said that about me?
So I Google Butch, and what I get is first result says lesbian slang, and then beyond that, then I get the dictionary
That's
result.
the first thing I thought. It was like Butch. I know what Butch is.
And then I get Butch the then I have the dictionary definition of having an appearance or other qualities of a that are traditionally seen as masculine. And then top stories I have outrage over name, and then everything else.
I can't wait till they introduce his partner next week, Stud. If that's
So
what they're doing.
once it's not trending anymore, once it's not trending anymore, so once it's not trending anymore, this is the case. But my point here. Reg. But what my point here is by God, Reg. After the like in 2017, the late great Brody Lee, he was Luke Harper at the time, and they had his name changed to Harper, which I thought, why would you do that? You are completely taking away his Googleability. Because at that point, if I look up Harper, he's not even close to the first result. And and I feel like when it comes to a name, you want something that the wrestler and WWE themselves own in itself. You know, you Google John Cena, that is a name that is only attached to one person. And I feel like Butch's problem in this case, or Pete Dunne's problem in this case, he's not even the only wrestling Butch in WWE history, right? You know, he's not. And
shout out to Hacksaw Butch Reed. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah,
talking about Butches.
But yeah, once you homogenize
fucking bushwhackers, like the thing is, I feel like you are going to rename somebody. You should be looking to give them the most unique identity possible if you're going to do so. Because at that point, like my marketing brain goes, I want to be able to own this name. I want this name to be attached to this person and that person to be attached to us. So if I were WWE, I'd be looking at names that, like, at least if you're going to name him Butch something.
Butch Dunne?
Yeah. Even
because
give him something that at that point you do fully own, because
Benny
you don't
the Butcher. Yeah, I like Benny the Butcher. That would have been pretty good too. Wait, that's taken already, I think.
Tana Talk 4 in stores now.
Tana Talk. Damn, I still haven't bumped that Tana Talk. Can you believe it? It was a busy day.
Because look,
for your Tana Talk
another
today, bro. Come on.
Because I currently have that problem with Gunther. Now, granted, they didn't own Walter either. I'm pretty sure if I Google Walter, the first thing I get is like Breaking Bad. But if I Google Gunther, not even on the first page of Google, I'm getting the Swedish singer Gunther, followed by Gunther from Friends, followed by
Rest in Peace.
R.I.P. Word.
This should just be a thing. Grapsody Google searches things.
Well, like I said, but you get my point though. Is that you get my point though? If you're changing wrestlers' names, it should be to something more unique, not less. If you want to own a professional wrestler's identity, there's no harm in that. WWE has been doing that forever. Seth Rollins is a unique name. Dean Ambrose was a unique name. Roman Reigns is very unique.
Yep.
That's what I want to see if you're changing names. But don't just go with shit that essentially decreases the wrestler's marketability, not increases it.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Gotcha.
And
That's
that's why.
a very fair point from a marketing perspective. Like you want something, or even if it's like a one-word name, something that hasn't been used before.
Yeah,
something that
Butch
can
is
be
like just so
identified.
broad. Yeah,
Like
you know?
if he was just like the bruiserweight,
Yes,
but he probably
exactly.
wants to own that too. So I wouldn't
I would
want him
think
to
so.
like
Yeah,
give that to any company.
that
so,
plays a big factor too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And finally,
I was just gonna say, but
Yeah.
that's why people in their criticism of what people don't like about something, I don't think people try and see people's point. They just go, "Oh, why are you complaining?"
Yeah.
Not everything is just a complaint. Sometimes it's like an observation of, okay, well, why did they do that? It's okay for me to ask, why did they do that?
Of course.
Without it turning into, oh man, you guys complain about everything. You like Hook though. You like Jungle Boy as a name. Like, no,
You like a
that
dinosaur.
has nothing to do with anything. That has nothing to do with it, the reason why I'm asking about this.
Yeah.
yeah, because like, I'm sorry, but Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, feel how you feel about the names. They're Googleable. You get nobody else when you Google Jungle Boy. You definitely get nothing else when you Google Luchasaurus. I don't necessarily care about the quality of a name as much as I care about how much success the wrestler can have with it, and that's all I want to see.
That's a fair point. That's a
I care
very
about equity
astute
that
point.
they've built in a name. That's what I care
Yep.
about. If they've built equity in a name, they should be able to keep that. That's all I care
Yes.
about.
And unfortunately, our last topic is so fucking unfortunate. Oh my
Is it
god, dude.
Oh, I thought it was something else. I was
No,
scared.
no,
I was
no.
like, what is it?
Bill, relax.
I was
Yeah.
scared. I was scared because I was like, "What are we talking about?" Wait,
No,
wait.
we're talking about somebody fucking their neck up. I was watching this last night. I was at a wrestling show, West Coast Pro Wrestling. Shout out to my homies at West Coast Pro Wrestling. Incredible show last night, highlighted by Fatu and AJ Gray. Fatu ended up winning back the West Coast Pro Championship, but I was watching this moment with Robert Martyr. Shout out to Robert Martyr, 20-year-old incredible wrestler, and we were just horrified at what took place. Rich Holland went to lock up Big E in a belly-to-belly suplex. Some miscommunications happened between the two of them, and Big E landed right on top of his neck. It was nasty, just unfortunate, terrible things.
I love Big E.
Yeah,
I'm glad that he could keep himself in good spirits.
Right.
The videos were peak Big E. I loved him talking about, if you could get injured in any place, Birmingham, Alabama is the place to do it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
that's where everybody
actually
goes anywhere, anyways, when they get injured for
Dr.
WWE.
James Andrews, the GOAT.
Yeah. So as far as that was concerned, man, that is not what you want to see for anybody, but especially somebody as good as Big E, as good to everybody as Big E is, that is as universally loved as Big E is. That is not something you want to see happen to anybody. And
so he did a video right afterwards last night saying that he could feel all his fingers. He has movement, but he has a broken neck. And shit was kind of crazy. But then he did a video today giving an update saying that he won't need surgery and that it's a lot of physical therapy, a lot of just getting back to it, and that it's not as bad as it could have been. So there has been some light in this very dark moment for Big E.
So I had a friend once who, it is going to sound crazy, but you'll see where I'm going with it. I had a friend once who something happened, like wrong place, wrong time, and we in the hood we call these the Goldbergs, the traffic muscles, like whatever.
Right.
So his whole thing was built up, and he got shot here, right? And the doctor said if you didn't have a fat neck like that, you would have survived. And I say that to say, Big E, his whole upper body is like diesel, like well put together and is strong. So that I think definitely saved him. The fact that he only had fractures of those two, he said no ligament, no nerve, no structure to the spine, no surgery.
Yeah.
Blessed, bro.
That's a dude that's working his neck every single day in the gym.
Like I made the mistake of even because I have to see like how it happened. I saw a gif of it or gif, however you say it, right? I was just like, damn, that must have looked crazy because I wasn't watching and I saw all the big get well and crazy enough. I was thinking I hope it wasn't because of that outside spear move, because I didn't know what it was. I just heard he hurt his neck. Because that move scared. I seen it live.
Scares me every time.
It's every scary. Time. But then to hear him tell it, it's a safe move that he does because he just knows how to do it. But to see that happen, you know, and the outpouring of support, everybody, he just tells you the type of guy. We know how the type of guy Big E is, right? Like, it's just like I can't stress that enough. So blessed, so fortunate to come out on that. And the other side of that I want to say is like, yo, I know there's gonna be super massive heat on Rich Holland. He went to go visit him in the hospital. You know, I don't know how, I couldn't imagine how he feels. You know,
pro wrestling is
I'm
crazy,
just showing him grace
man.
on that end. Like, this is a high contact sport, and the fact that we were just talking about Sammy going full Evel Knievel with that Spanish fly, like these are closer to happening than the average fan would understand. And the fact that they protect themselves and they're safe, that's why it doesn't happen. I don't know where the miscommunication was, but
this isn't a Rich Holland is a bad wrestler thing. This is like some communications. Things go crazy.
You know what's crazy?
Wild, you know?
I just hope
the thing I think people forget is that especially when which is why I think the whole botch culture always drives me nuts, is because you know, people are always like, oh, this is dangerous and people get injured, blah blah blah. But like, the majority of high profile wrestling injuries have happened on routine moves. And any wrestler will tell you that like the big spots and things like that, they might walk away with some bumps and bruises, but like severe injuries typically have happened on something.
There's the wrestlers that like have just been stepped on getting up for a spot, and that's like the worst injury they've ever had. Like it's everywhere. It's all over the place. You know, it could be anything.
Super haphazard, and you just don't know. It's random.
It's dangerous out there,
and it could happen anywhere. And like I said, this is a move that Rich Holland's probably done 1,000,000 times, that Big E has taken 1,000,000 times, but like, sometimes
Big E does that move to other people. So
it's not even like the type of thing where you can just say, oh, well, this move's dangerous. Nah, man, it is a case of, there's a reason why the wrestling community is all coming out in support of Rich Holland, of like, look, man, shit happens. This is the ring. This is what we do. And we recognize, because like I said, the big injuries, the most high-profile injuries in professional wrestling.
Yeah, someone said Athenia got hurt by running. We were talking about someone earlier. Kevin Nash got hurt. He stepped into the ring and he didn't even, you know what I mean?
Hunter's Triple H
broke his quads running to the ring and
it's crazy.
Triple H's biggest injury, the one that had Hunter out, was him going and clubbing Chris Jericho in the back of his head and tearing his quad. It's
wild. And you know what?
Then he tore his up.
Real quick, Will, Fabian Eichner almost caught that on NXT. Like, the Creed brothers came in and they were clearing the ring, and you know the Creed brothers, it's like they picking you up like it's a water bottle, right? And it was, they're clearing the ring and they're supposed to be destroying everybody in the ring. And I think one of the Creeds, he was going to back body drop or suplex Eichner and throw him over his head, and I think he lost his grip. And it was like almost too easy, and he lost it, and Eichner broke his fall with his hand. Ooh. And when you see it in replay, you like, oh, that came close. So just to your point, like, routine stuff that we see all the time where people get lifted, Keith Lee, Yeaton, Cassidy, of course, like these type of things, and it's like one millimeter off.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be different.
I just don't think it's important, man.
I don't think about, remember that time Randy Orton dislocated his shoulder doing his pounding the fist? He's doing his taunt.
Sami Zayn,
Sami Zayn celebrating like
that.
Man.
Like it's crazy. Like, things can happen, and I just want Big E. I just want to see Big E have the world.
Big E deserves better than this. God damn it. The end of his title run, like, oh, God, man, get this guy.
I want to see everything for Big E, and that's it. And I'm hoping to see him back. Man,
and I just saw that video yesterday he did with Goldberg, the Hot Ones thing. I'm like, yo, this could have been setting that up, and now this, man. Damn.
You can still get it.
We still get it when
it was prophesized. Big meaty bed, bumping meat. It was the prophecy. It has to come true at some point.
I think that match will happen at some point. But I just think people going over how he got hurt, that's really unimportant. Like, I mean, Rich, it just was an accident. It was an accident, and trying to blame Rich for it just doesn't.
It's crazy.
It doesn't do anything for Big E. It doesn't do anything for anyone. And I mean, just watching him do those videos of, look, I can move my digits and all that. That's why we love Big E. That's why he was a great champion. That's why he was a great brand ambassador. And that's why people love the guy. And I mean, that's not just people backstage, that's fans.
It's so crazy, that video last night. So me and Rob Marta are watching the video, the horrific video, and then immediately after, so Rob is like shocked and like how we all are. And then we watched the Big E video, and his face immediately changed into a smile. Like Big E did that.
How to disarm people.
Like Big E did that. Like he brought someone from being sad about him getting hurt to immediately being happy, just hearing him reassure all of us that he's doing fine there.
I love Big E for that entire reason, and it's weird that now we're at a point where Kof back on his own.
My God, dude! How does this keep happening?
So,
he gets to join great company, right? Like him and Kurt Angle, broken freaking neck. Like he's coming back stronger than that. Remember? So I could see something like that set up down the line. Like Big E. Nothing but the best, abundant blessings, healing, success. He's gonna be straight, and this is just gonna take him to a whole nother stratosphere. Yeah, right. I hate that this had to happen. We don't need this universe. We don't need this to make us appreciate people.
No,
we appreciate it. Please. I beg you, please.
So let's wrap up with I love me some Sova says, did you hear about the Warner Media Discovery merger? Of course you did, Jeff. That's
yes, I'm not saying nothing other than read the news and you can find out everything that you need to do.
I haven't heard about that, but that's hot. That is hot.
But there's a lot for the future that when that gets ratified, there's a lot of opportunity for the future, and I'm fascinated to see what that's going to become.
Yeah, that's hot.
I'm say.
Brent says, Butch, we just naming people via dartboard now.
Essentially.
Derek says, Butch, Gunther, Dewdrop, Kaylee Ray better get ready. WWE clearly hates them.
Kaylee is losing that name faster than the
That's
speed
the piece.
of light.
I guess I didn't even consider. It is all the NXT UK talent losing their name.
Yes.
It is.
Because they are really over there, the redheaded stepchilds of WWE,
Tremaine says he's in the game as Pete Dunne.
He is. I forgot about that.
2K is stressed.
Hey, shout out though.
Somebody send me that game, man. My Xbox One. I've been waiting. Come on, man. I thought we was out here. I want to try to play that.
Come on, man.
I'm not gonna pay full price for it just because I pretty much, since my younger days of working at GameStop, long ago. No, I mean,
I worked there for like 2 weeks. They were like, we need you for 1 hour next Thursday. I was gonna say, dude, what are you saying for?
Yeah, I was gonna say that my minimum wage job back then. What I will say though is, back in those days, I recognize a lot has changed in gaming because there's not a whole lot of physical gaming. But I, since then, have refused, unless it's like something I collect, to pay full price for anything. Because I watched how quickly games would drop in price, and it was like, damn, no way. No goddamn way.
Speaking of wrestling game, WrestleMania 21 or whatever, I bought it that day, and I took it back that same day because it was one of the worst games I ever played, and they gave me less money for it. They don't give you the same, like it's like a used, like a car or something. When it leaves that store, it's
you're done.
Value has decreased.
That game was trash. It had a fun creative. I mean, it had a fun season mode. But you had to play the game
back immediately. I played for like 30 minutes and was like, "This is garbage. Please take this back."
But I will. I do want to play 2K22. It actually looks really good, and
it's probably gonna be
looks
on
like a lot
Game
of
Pass
fun.
if I had to guess.
Yeah, I feel like I will play it, but I'm not paying full price for it. No way.
I'm not paying $60 for that.
Jonathan Williams, happy birthday, Reg. How do you top this B-Day week next year?
I have no idea, man. I'm working on it though.
Here's the thing. Stop it. And
Texas, Vegas.
Let's see what else we got. And we do have Texas coming up here soon.
Texas, we gonna be screwed up. I'm gonna
get the next time I
drink some lean, double cupped up.
Drink some lean, yo. you doing that by yourself in Dallas, bro?
I'm gonna have Will and Phil with double cupped up, both of the bros.
Nope.
Nah, man, you doing that by yourself, bro.
But hey, I gotta get to some fun here in LA because I didn't just come here to sit in my brother's shoe closet and sweat profusely. And look, man, there's no vents in here at all. This is a shoe closet. I am literally in a shoe closet. Hello. I wonder, do we wear the same size shoe?
Oh wow, look at this guy.
Them 11s is clean, bro.
Yeah. Hold on, he's a 10. Damn it.
Ah, damn. Good on him, not good on you.
Yeah.
Come on, man. He gets it a 10. I don't think I've been able to fit my foot in a 10 in like fucking 10 years, bro.
I'm a 12, so I can't.
12.
Over 10 years.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I'm a 10 or 9.5, and those shoes are always the first ones to go. I can never get shoes, so.
Size
Yeah,
of
no. So shout out to my brother in his shoe closet for. He got hats in here too. This. Look, man, I recognize my brother is my brother.
Look, he's still getting money from the parenthood. He out here. Come on, let's go.
No, it's funny too because my kids were asking him last night. They're like, "Can you tell us about being on Sister Sister?" And
that's hard. I need him to come on Grapsody and tell that same story, please, because that would be dope.
I would probably get him to come in here if he get here.
Come on, man. He's got to make a cameo. He's made a cameo on every other black sitcom anyway.
Yeah.
That would cement Grapsody as a legendary black show.
That is, you are 100% right, Phil. We would be in the annals of black history.
In the annals,
we had
bro.
the greatest cameo black sitcom actor there is, man. Come on. Come on, man. Our stock is going to go through the roof after this.
Through the roof, man.
Hold on.
He was next to Tia and Tamara. Come on, bro.
Let me see. Real
and what's the
quick.
homegirl's name from Parenthood? She was fine. Was her name Zaria in the show?
Reagan Gomez.
Ooh,
Reagan
Reagan Gomez. Man, yeah.
Hold on.
He's probably
Let's
been in the
see where
same
he's
room with Cree Summers, too, I'm sure.
at. Hold on, I'm calling him right now.
Come on, man.
Hey, what are you doing right now?
Playing with
Hey, want to make a quick cameo on the show?
quick what?
Want to make a quick cameo on the show real quick?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Oh, my
in real
God. This is Black
Thanks, Will.
history. Thanks, Will. Black history. Black history.
That's
This is
funny.
lit, man.
Hold on, we got Meyer. It says WWE stressed out 2K with all these releases and name changes that they're willing to have EA Sports buy the license rights from them. Yeah, that could be a thing.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick.
Damn.
Oh, here it comes.
Quite a bit.
Hold on. This is my brother, David Michael.
What's up,
Yes,
y'all?
this is
Yo.
Black history right here. We are now in the annals of history. One of the greatest black sitcom cameo superstars there is has made a cameo on Grapsody. It's lit for us, man.
He can't hear y'all because I got my headphones.
But it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Whatever y'all are saying, it sounds like the truth. So,
just put my man over as one of the greatest cameo
that's like,
guest spots in black sitcom history.
Hey, they'll call you the greatest black sitcom history. So
thank you. Three times out, man. Much love to all of y'all, man. He's doing a great job. All of y'all doing a great job. I'm hearing the stories, and y'all are killing it, man. So keep doing what y'all doing, and raising the bar, leveling up, and y'all are the truth, man. So everything y'all doing, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by him, and you guys are making a name for yourself and just changing the game. So keep doing what y'all doing. I love it.
Oh, thank you,
It's funny.
man. That's amazing.
I did RBR 17 years. Never got to make a cameo.
Let's go,
Grapsody,
baby, because this
6
is
months.
Grapsody.
This is
We
how
don't
we
do
do
it
it,
like
baby.
those other
All
guys. We don't
right.
do it like those other guys over here.
That's what's up.
This is us.
That's what's up.
But hey, so I will read this last super chat. Thank you, David.
Thank
Michael
you.
Michael Stapp
I
says
love
Vince should send all the wrestlers from Texas to whoop KO's ass at WrestleMania. Austin, Booker T, Taker. I can see
He
it.
might be able to take one of those Texas beatings. I can see that.
Texas
And-
beating sounds wild, bro. Wow.
It's like, listen, we gotta go.
Slaveholders in 1860.
yeah, we gotta go.
Oh my
Hey,
God, no!
everybody, thank you for being a part of Grapsody today. This was an extended edition. Jeff, Sorry, I got you mixed up because Phil brings up different Jeffs, and I wasn't sure which Jeff was going to be on the show.
Jeffs
But
out
I
here that I want to have on our show, man. Like,
I know. You just said Jeff, and I'm like, okay, now I know which Jeff I'm doing a show with. My bad. But
all good, brother. It's all good. Jeff is
all good.
Jeff, and he had his Hardy Boy shit ready. He thought it was Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Jeff. I don't know.
So my bad, but thank you for being here. This was a absolute pleasure having you. And everybody, thank you for being with us on another Saturday. I'm going to stop sweating here in this closet. I feel like this shirt is drenched. Shout out, by the way, to Cam.
Shout out Cam.
Yeah, Cam for the shirt. And everybody, we will see you next time. Have a great day. Peace.